Okay, it is 5:31. I would like to call the Board of Selectmen meeting for the town of Halifax to order. It is Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. It is 5:31 p.m. according to my computer. We are in the Great Hall here at Town Hall. The meeting has been posted in accordance with the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20B, and pursuant to Chapter 30A, Section 20F. Notice is being made that this meeting is being recorded and will be posted on Area 58 Community Access Channel. The board chair reasonably anticipates that the following matters will be discussed and or voted on at this meeting, and agenda items may be taken out of order for time management considerations. All right, and I will ask to start the meeting as we start all our meetings. For those that can, please stand, salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. All right, I think this is my microphone here, sorry. Just to kind of go over the agenda really quickly, I know we have, all of our stuff is important here, but we have two kind of big items here on our agenda. One being the interviews for the possible candidates for our building commissioner, zoning enforcement officer, and the other being our water commissioners and water superintendent coming in to discuss the water situation here in Halifax. I will say we had our scheduled interviewees on the agenda first, and then afterwards added the water commissioners and superintendent, so we won't be taking that stuff out of order. So for any folks that are here for water situation stuff, that will not start before 7 o'clock. I know we are live streaming tonight, so if folks are home live streaming, making dinner, busy, I can assure you there will be no water discussion before 7 p.m. Just to give you guys the heads up, because again, we had already scheduled our candidates for our building commissioner position at the beginning of this meeting, and we couldn't, move that around. So just to give everybody the heads up on our schedule for tonight. So that said, our first candidate is not scheduled to start until 5:45. So I guess we can start with the usual agenda items here. So if Bill, if you would like to affirm and approve the following warrants and commitments.
I move to affirm approval of the following warrants and commitments. School warrant number 53 for $279,489.08. Vendor warrant number 54, $270,899.77. Ambulance commitments for ambulance commitments 11:24 to 11:25, from 11:30 to 25, for $41,994.50. Ambulance commitments 12/125 to 12/725, for $112,730.41.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimous.
I move to approve the following warrants. Payroll warrant number 55 for $462,497.98. Vendor warrant number 56 for $273,924.22. Withholding warrant number 57 for $163,302.10.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimous 3-0. All right, and before we get on to, I just wanted to announce too to the crowd, this meeting, I believe, according to our IT director, is being live streamed. So again, wanted to get that out there to the public that this meeting is being live streamed as well. I should also do roll call. We have Pam McSherry here, our assistant. We have Selectman Bill Smith. We have Selectman Thomas Pratt, myself, Selectman Jonathan Seelig. I apologize for the voice. Been under the weather a little bit, but on the other side of it, so I assure you I feel better than I sound right now. I won't be hugging anybody, just in case.
Deal.
All right. All right, let's go down to A. So we're at the end of the calendar year, and it's time for license renewals for our businesses here in town. So as part of our selectmen duties, we have to go and inspect our businesses that have alcoholic licenses to sell. So we divide them all up. I had some, Tom had some, Bill had some. We go in and we inspect the premises, make sure that everything's great. So we have a laundry list for those of you guys that see the agenda in front of you. It's quite a few. So what I can do here, guys, is I'll entertain a motion to approve. We'll go kind of in order of, down the line. And if anybody has a hold, otherwise we'll just go right down the line. Pam, does that sound good to you?
Right.
All right, great.
That's great.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2026 license renewal alcoholic beverage license for Unit 5 Bar LLC, Subham Inc., Halifax Lake Street Incorporated, Jenish Convenience Incorporated, Hari Corp. DBA Lindy's General Store, Dragon Lake Village Incorporated, DBA Happy Dragon Restaurant, D's Grill 58 LLC, DBA D's Grill 58, Halifax Investments Inc., DBA Country Club of Halifax, Monponzant Events LLC, DBA The Lake House, and Lionville Tavern and Restaurant LLC, DBA Nani's Italian Grill.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimous. I will also entertain a motion to approve the Class 1 license for Halifax Mobile Home Estates Association Incorporated and Morgan Power Equipment Incorporated.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I will entertain a motion to approve our 2026 license Class 2 for 1734 Auto Brokers LLC, Allen's Automotive Service, Alley's Auto Repair and Sales LLC, Davis Automotive, and Ellis Auto Body.
And then there's more.
There's more.
You gotta keep going.
Oh, and there's another page, sorry. J&J Motorsports, Pete's Auto Sales, RG Automotive Incorporated, and TLC Companies Incorporated.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimous. All right, Class 3, I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2026 Class 3 license for Steve's Auto Recycling.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2026 Common Victrola license for the following businesses: ASNVP Corp., DBA Subway, Cape Cod Halifax LLC, DBA Cape Cod Cafe, Dragon Lake Village Incorporated, DBA Happy Dragon Restaurant, D's Grill 58 LLC, DBA D's Grill 58, Family and Friends Enterprises Incorporated, DBA Santoro's Pizza, Gen 2 LLC, DBA Dunkin' Donuts, Halifax Investments Inc., DBA Country Club of Halifax, Monponzant Events LLC, DBA The Lake House, Lionville Tavern and Restaurant LLC, DBA Nani's Italian Grill, Rodney's Kitchen, and Unit 5 Bar LLC, DBA The Tea Box.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimous. I'll entertain a motion for an extended hours New Year's Eve for the following businesses: Dragon Lake Village Inc., DBA Happy Dragon Restaurant, and Monponzant Events LLC, DBA The Lake House.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimous. Now to public entertainment on Sundays. I'll entertain a motion to approve the following establishments for a 2026 license for public entertainment on Sunday: Dragon Lake Village Incorporated, DBA Happy Dragon Restaurant, Halifax Investments Incorporated, DBA Country Club of Halifax, Monponzant Events LLC, DBA The Lake House, and Unit 5 Bar LLC, DBA The Tea Box.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Passes unanimous. And then finally, I'll entertain a motion for renewal of the 2026 permit for public entertainment on weekdays to the following businesses here: Dragon Lake Village Incorporated, DBA Happy Dragon Restaurant, D's Grill 58 LLC, DBA D's Grill 58, Halifax Investments Incorporated, DBA Country Club of Halifax, Monponzant Events LLC, DBA The Lake House, Lionville Tavern and Restaurant LLC, DBA Nani's Italian Grill, and Unit 5 Bar LLC, DBA The Tea Box.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimous. All right, we still have about 5 minutes before our first candidate comes in. We're going to jump down I don't see Dick Steele here, but we're going to jump down to C on your agenda, which is the 2026 Selectmen meeting schedule. Simply, we like to get the meeting dates out to the public before the year starts. Traditionally, they're the second and fourth Tuesday of every month. We do switch it up for November and December, you'll see, because the second and fourth Tuesdays of those months collide with some of the big holidays of the year. So in November and December, they are the first and third Tuesdays of the month. Otherwise, they're traditionally the second and the fourth. So if the board has had a chance to take a look at those, does anybody want to vote to entertain a motion to accept those dates for selectmen meetings?
So moved. I'll make that motion to accept as printed.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimous. Again, sometimes if the unforeseen comes up, we may have to move a meeting or two, but overall, that will be the schedule for 2026 for the Halifax Board of Selectmen. All right, what else can we get done here on this list?
F?
You guys want to do ambulance abatements?
Yeah.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the ambulance abatement for October 2025 for $161,834.85, and for November 2025 of $73,080.51.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimous. Yeah, we can do F as well. We're cooking here. Jumping down to F, you guys. We have the appointment of Michael Bennett to the Override Study Committee. So as part of the Override Study Committee that we've established, the charge, there is one member of Finance Committee that is on that committee. The Finance Committee met, they discussed, and Michael Bennett was voted by the committee to be the representative for the Override Study Committee. We just have to give him our seal of approval that we are okay with Michael being on that committee. So I'll entertain a motion to approve Michael Bennett to the Override Study Committee.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimous.
Oh, G.
G? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark Dillon, we can squeeze you in real quick. Mark, do you want to come down really quick? Put you on the hot seat? So we're moving down to G, guys, on the agenda, which is we've received a talent bank form from this guy right here, Mark Dillon, to be possibly a part of the Government Study Committee. Mark, can you just, for the record, say your name and your address?
Yeah, Mark Dillon. I live at 30 Lincoln Street in Halifax.
Awesome. And Mark, for those that don't know or don't know, have met Mark, he's been a rock star lately. He's really jumped in and helped Halifax. I know you're part of the watershed currently. You're part of the Override Study Committee that I just mentioned. And now you're looking at throwing your name in the ring for government study.
And also the
Town administrator.
Town administrator.
Town Administrative Screening Committee, right, the guy's doing everything but emptying the trash. So, so Mark, why the Government Study Committee, in a couple words, if you could?
I know there was a couple vacancies that came up. I have the time right now, based on my background with my degrees in political science. I figured hop on, help out however I could, and see what I could do to make things go as smooth as possible.
Yeah. No, I appreciate your approach, Mark. You're always very level-headed, and you're willing to listen, which I think is great. Any input or anything from the board, this is your baby, so.
I'm not sure.
It's not your baby, it's your adopted baby. How's that?
Departed Selectman John Bruno put me in charge of this, if you
Yes,
remember.
that was his parting gift.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
No, happy to help out. Happy to have any volunteers that would like to help. Mark's involved and invested and informed, and I appreciate anyone who's willing to volunteer, put their time in, and see what comes out. So I appreciate the effort, Mark.
I do too. Thank you.
All right, do we have, Pam, is there a set date or is it open?
It's an open.
It's an open?
Yeah.
Okay, no other discussion from the board?
Nope.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to appoint Mark Dillon to the Government Study Committee.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimous. Mark, thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Mark.
Gentlemen.
Appreciate it.
Not my baby, just to be.
Well, I will say adopted
Adopted
child.
baby.
Yep. So, all right, so we are now here at 5:45, and I'm hoping Michael is here. Michael, yeah, come on down. Nice to meet you. I'll shake your hand first. Jonathan Seelig, nice to meet you. Yeah?
Tom Pratt, pleasure.
Will Smith, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
All right, we're not gonna get out the spotlight or anything, Michael, we're not gonna grill you or anything, so, I guess my first question is, tell us about yourself, tell us why you're interested in being the building commissioner here in Halifax.
I'm a contractor by trade. I've been in the HVAC business and plumbing business for 30 years. I became a local inspector in the town I live, which is Norfolk, a small community like this. Finding out that I had to get a building official's license to become the mechanical inspector, I proceeded with the classes, moved on, got my inspector's license, continued, and moved on to get my commissioner's. I've been a general manager for a company called Municipal Code Consultants. So towns like yourself that don't have a commissioner, you would hire us. I in turn had 5 inspectors that I would send out on a daily basis, cover your ground until you could find someone. I did that for a few years. And then COVID hit and inspectors weren't working and we weren't working as contractors. So I got back into construction. I've had a contract for 5 years. I've just finished that contract. And I'm gonna get back into building inspectors,
Okay.
so.
All right. As part of this position, you also are zoning enforcement officer. Do you have any, I guess, experience being a zoning enforcement officer yourself?
Yes, I have a lot of experience as a zoning officer. I'm also a building commissioner in Rhode Island, and in Rhode Island, I was the zoning officer exclusive for 6 months as a fill-in. I sit on the zoning board in my town, so I'm very involved with zoning. I think the zoning end of the job is the little bit more of a challenge than it is the building official job, to be honest.
Yeah.
Building officials, you have a set of rules. Zoning, every town's a little different, so.
You have all your required paperwork. You said you have your commissioner's license, and you're keeping up to date with, I mean, I know that stuff is constantly changing and evolving.
Yeah.
You're keeping up with all.
I was at a meeting this morning in Grafton for 4 hours. I'm very up on my hours,
Okay.
yes.
Can you describe your style of being a building commissioner? I know that, it can run the gambit. How do you approach the job? And maybe share some past experiences that kind of off the beaten path and how you handled either a tense situation or a situation of conflict, or how you resolve issues that are going to rise in this position.
Okay, a lot of questions.
Sorry, I got tea and it's caffeinated, so I apologize.
Examples of inspections, we'll say, you handle every inspection as a professional. Whether I'm inspecting somebody's kitchen that's remodeled, or I'm doing 420 apartment buildings in Amherst, all right? Or if I'm doing a biomed center in Waltham. I mean, huge differences that I inspect, huge differences. Act professional, that person has a job, you have a job. Be fair, be fair.
Yeah.
As far as conflicts, try not to have conflicts, obviously, and work them out with that individual. You can usually get by. If you take some time and sit and talk with the person, you can usually work it out.
Okay. You mentioned 420 unit structures. What are some of the larger scale projects you've worked on? I don't know if you've driven through Halifax.
I did.
We have a lot of stuff going on right now. Kind of share with me some of your history as the varying scales of projects that you've overseen.
In Amherst alone, we did do a 420 unit 40B project right down the street from the college. The town can't handle that, inspections. So I would go out there 3 to 4 days a week, do inspections, go back, do my reports. Again, on 128, ton of mechanical inspections because I'm a specialist in mechanicals. So any of the compounding centers for the hospitals and things like that, I was involved. High rises. I do plan reviews for the city of Revere, because again, they don't have the time, so they would give them to the company I work for. We do all the plan reviews for Revere because of the projects with the casinos. I just did the high school there. So that high school's over 100,000 square feet, 2 levels of parking garage under it to keep the teachers' cars. So,
Okay.
plenty of high-end stuff like that, down
Okay.
to, my last project was building a $10 million house in Newport, down there. So-
That's Tom's vacation home. I don't know if
Is
you know
it?
that.
Yeah, I just built a house in Castle Hill.
Wow. So we have, I don't know if you're familiar, we have an online system. Are you familiar, how familiar are you with our online permitting?
So there's 3 major companies, and I deal with them all because I deal with different communities, so a little bit of each.
Okay.
They're all pretty much the same, you just gotta navigate your way through a little different.
Okay.
But, yeah, we've been dealing with that for 10 years in some towns.
Great.
To
Great.
be honest, that's not an issue.
Great. I've been kind of dominating things here, guys. Any other questions from the board here?
Well, I was pleased to see on the Sunderland project, 150 apartment complex, 150 units. Like Jonathan said, we have a couple of large-scale projects here in Halifax, kind of in the middle, maybe infancy stages in the middle here. It'd be beneficial, in my opinion, to have somebody see that through. My big question, I just, I don't want to speak for anybody else up on this stage, but I think we're looking for some consistency, some longevity, somebody who's willing to put the time in for long-term, not looking for quick turnover. I'm not concerned, but Norfolk to here, the time commitment and travel, not a problem. The investment in town to be a long-term fit would be okay with you?
Yeah, I plan on staying 10 years.
Okay.
I got 10 years before I retire.
Okay.
Yeah, good for
I'm gonna
you.
be very honest with you.
Yep.
And it's 45 to 50 minutes, and to me, that's time when I think about things and write things down, and you gotta have some downtime between here and home.
Yep. And what about history with the support staff? Administrative staff, worked with others in the past in a clerical sense?
A lot.
Okay.
Yeah. When I was in Methuen for quite a while, we had 4 girls in the office there, and a lot of time spent with permitting, a lot.
And so when you left the building inspector in 18 and you kind of jumped away to a 5-year commitment when COVID hit, had you always planned to come back? Did you
Yeah.
know that?
This is what I want to do.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, I built and remodeled all the new car dealerships on Route 1 in Norwood, and it's just run, constant. It's a lot. And it's time to step back a little, to be honest.
Sure.
I mean, to be honest, that's, yeah.
Okay. Bill?
Stole a couple of my questions. Have you in the past or in the future, do you have any projects in Halifax that you did in the past or you plan on doing in the future with your company?
No. The only thing I ever knew down here was Armin's Motorsports. And
That's gone.
a long ago. It's
Yeah, a lot of
been
people knew Armin's.
I've been here, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that's again why I like to have a little bit of travel, because it separates you from the people that you're friendly with, contractors. You need some separation.
And how do you ensure that buildings meet the accessibility requirements for people with disabilities?
How?
How do you ensure that? Just,
You make inspections, and you spot check. Yeah, you check for handicap signs, you check for, guys are getting the parking lots striped, and you make sure those spots go back. That's a very important aspect of the job.
yeah,
Mostly it will come in through complaints, through the office, but you have to investigate those as a priority, because the ADA is calling you next.
okay, thank you.
Yep,
Michael, do you like Mike? Michael, what do you like?
whatever you want.
What do you go? Okay. There's probably been an instance where you've had to issue a stop order, I would guess. How would you handle, you find somebody in non-compliance? What's your process there? What's your approach on something like that?
When you say stop, like non-compliance
Correct.
as far as
Yeah.
going in to give a certificate of occupancy.
Yeah, occupancy, or it could be a zoning, a zoning infraction, or,
It, all motion stops.
okay.
Yeah, there's no around it. There's no workaround, there's no, especially if it's fire related, life safety related. If it's landscape related, we can have a discussion. But if it's life safety or getting out of that building, there's no
If
discussion.
ands or buts.
If it's a handrail out on that walkway because it's got 30-inch stepping stones, that's something different. But you could give a temp CO for that and then move forward.
Yep.
And that's how I would, handle it. There's no waiver on life safety.
I agree. Anything else, guys?
I just want to follow up on one quick thing. I think you touched on it. I just want to confirm. There's some emerging trends, green codes, all that stuff. Your experiences, you're up to date on all the education and classes and so forth on green, sustainable.
Stretch code,
sustainable
all that
stretch
good
code, all that
stuff.
Yeah, today's seminar was on commercial IEC regulations, which
Okay.
is International Energy Code.
Okay.
That's, we had a speaker come in and had a 2-hour seminar and then further discussion.
Well-versed, no questions, no problem.
No questions, no questions. I do major plan reviews, so, yeah.
Excellent. All right, I kind of checked all my boxes, guys, unless you have any others.
I'm okay as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you don't mind, Mike sitting down there,
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Michael.
appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, just to keep things going, guys, I think do we want to jump back in? I know, actually, Rob, I just saw you walk in, but we don't have them till 6:10, so maybe we can jump back into
Fill it.
the rest of our agenda, and then at 6:10, just so we can stay on time, guys, we'll go back to our candidates, if that's okay with everyone.
Yeah, so Jonathan,
Dick's here.
Jonathan,
All right,
Jonathan.
yeah.
Dick Steele's here.
Dick Steele,
Yes.
come on down.
I said,
So we're going to jump to B on everybody's agenda, which is the Halifax Youth and Rec After-School Recreation Program. Dick, I understand we got some changes coming.
Yeah, I saw myself on TV and I wasn't here, so I jumped in the car and made sure I got here.
Good, good. We like when you're here.
Somebody's out there watching.
Long drive?
We were, we've had these after-school programs going for almost 20 years, and it was suggested that this past summer, before we get into the fall, that we go through the Ethics Commission, make some phone calls and make sure that we are doing everything the right way. So I took care of that, as well as some of the teachers, and we made the calls to the Ethics Commission and the lawyers and made sure that everyone's doing everything they're supposed to be doing. You, I think, have in your possession the 20B, right, the exemption forms.
Yep.
And I think all they're looking for on your end is it says, I wrote down, must have written 20B exemptions approved by the selectmen and kept in the clerk's office. So that's what we're looking at doing. We've made sure that we followed all the rules that the Ethics Commission wants us to do, and we're hoping that we can get these programs going. Parents really miss them. We're hoping to get them going after vacation. That's what we're looking at.
So essentially, Dick, not to boil it down, but we just have to disclose that a school employee or a town employee will also be working at Youth and Rec as well.
Right, and
that's-
during non-school
Non-school
times,
hours,
that was one
correct.
of the, specifics that
Yep.
we had, and that would
Yep.
be the case. Another one is that they can't collect any of the money, so either I will collect or a non-teacher working, we have a couple already set up, that'll be able to do that also. So it can't, the teachers can't collect money, they can't really push the programs while they're in school.
While in
They
school.
also, there's a certain amount of hours that they can work, and they're way under that. We're talking about programs are gonna be working 1 or 2 days a week. We have a great STEM program, a great art program.
We do.
An unbelievable after-school sports program, and they're not, it's not like a babysitting duty. It's really, if you've had kids in the past that are in them, the teachers do a great job, so.
Yep, and I see a lot of the usual suspects here in the paperwork.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
essentially, not much is changing. We're just essentially getting in compliance with the
Making
state.
sure that we're doing
to
it
make
the
sure
right way.
all our Ts are
Yes.
crossed and Is are dotted, so.
Yes, I don't want any phone calls.
Yep, I get it. Do we need to do these individually, Pam, or do
I
we?
have no idea.
You have no idea.
Let's do them individually.
Individually.
Let's do it right.
Let's pick the night that I have the worst voice to do the most talking. All right, let's go.
Do it right the first time.
Yeah, that's it. All right. My wordage, you think, is I will entertain a motion to acknowledge? What's our?
Acknowledge and approve the 20B.
Approve, yeah.
The 20B exclusion.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will entertain a motion to acknowledge and approve the 20B exclusion for Hallie Mansfield.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I will entertain a motion to acknowledge and approve the 20B disclosure for Devin Morse.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
I will entertain a motion to acknowledge and approve the 20B municipal employee financial interest and municipal contract as required by Mass General Law to Steve Ruisi.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I will entertain a motion to acknowledge and approve the acknowledgement of municipal contract as required by general law, 20B, for Jennifer Reddy.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I will entertain a motion to acknowledge and accept the disclosure form, 20B, for Jacqueline Tebow.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. I'll entertain a motion to approve and acknowledge the conflict form 20B for Madison Collins.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Let's make sure I get them all up. I'll entertain a motion to acknowledge and approve the 20B form for Elizabeth Antone.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, I don't want to miss anybody here. I'll entertain a motion to acknowledge and approve the 20B form for Elaine Fryer.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimous. And I think finally, I will entertain a motion to acknowledge and approve the 20B disclosure form for Devin DiMartino.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimous. I think I get everybody. Did that sound like everybody?
It sounds good. I would guess that if another teacher wants to come forward, then we'll go through the same process.
Sure.
I'll go in front of you guys, and then, and so they won't do any kind of work until that happens.
Awesome.
I think that's the way it would probably work.
Dick, what's the cap on the students that can attend?
The cap is a classroom size, probably 25-ish, and we've never really gone over that. With the sports, it's a little bit bigger than that because of the
Right.
gym.
Yeah.
So, we run anywhere between 30 and, well, anywhere between 20, in the gym, 20 and 30 kids, and in the classrooms, right around 20-ish.
Okay.
So it works out pretty well. And if it gets any bigger, then we just split the grades.
Yeah.
Then we'll just have fourth grades and then we'll just have fifth grades right now, so.
Okay.
That's how we do it.
Thank you.
Awesome. And great job Saturday night, another holidays in
A
Halifax.
lot of fun.
Nice work by Youth and Rec.
I'm gonna memorize the night before Christmas one of these days.
Yeah, you'll get it right.
Thank you very much, really appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks, Dick.
Thanks, guys.
All right, I'm gonna jump down. We still have a little bit of time, just to keep our schedule here. Yeah, 6:10. So we have a couple more minutes. We're gonna go down to E, guys. I think Lakeville Animal Shelter Agreement. This is an agreement we've had in place with the town of Lakeville quite some time. We get a dog in town, we hold on to the dog, but after a while, if the dog is not picked up, it is then transferred over to Lakeville in their animal shelter. Again, it's been an agreement for as long as I've been a selectman, probably much longer than that. It's a renewal of the agreement. I will say there is something different this year. They are looking to hit the town of Halifax with an annual fee of $500 to help cover the costs and expenses of making sure that the facility is up to speed. So that is the one difference. Other than that, everything else is essentially the same as in years past. So any discussion or anything from the board on the town of Lakeville agreement?
So we're paying a $20 drop-off fee too?
Yep.
I would just question what the alternative is at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, $500, I mean, I'm not in the mood to spend anybody else's.
I think I'm sorry, I think last year it was the 500, I think they just used the same cover letter, because I asked the chief, I said, did it go up to $500? And he said, no, it's the same agreement as last year. But I can double check.
Well, double check because it says here, Pam, that the new, let me see if I can find it.
It says annual fee. It doesn't say new.
In my letter here, do you guys have the letter they sent to me here? It says, due to increased costs and inspections by the Mass Department of Agricultural Resources, which was required substantial repairs at the shelter, the Select Board has voted to assess each town that boards with the Lakeville shelter an annual fee of $500.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't remember that being in the contract prior. So just want to throw that out there for you guys. That fee is due July 15th, 26.
My quick opinion, without knowing whether that was in place prior or not, is it's $1.25 a day, and what's the alternative? So,
I can't speak to that. I know that'd be a question for our animal control officer.
I mean, I can ask the chief tomorrow what the alternative.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys aren't comfortable, if you aren't comfortable signing this, we could, I mean, we have some time, right?
Yeah.
Is it an agreement that has to be signed before the beginning of the year? What are the dates on this contract?
On July 1st, so I had already paid on July 1st, 2025. I had already paid them. So we can ask the chief and just bring it back at our meeting in January,
Okay,
okay?
yeah, let's do that.
Thanks, chief.
Let's do that. You guys okay with that?
Yep. That
All right,
works.
so we'll take no action on this, and we'll circle back to it after a quick conversation with our chief and animal control officer, and look to circle back in the January meeting. All right, is there anything we can do before we go on? We are cooking here. Nope, I think we're good. I know we're a couple minutes early, but Rob, if you're okay starting a couple minutes early, you want to come on down? Take my hand, Rob. I'm asking all our candidates to come up here, meet the board. I know you, but good to see you.
Tom, nice to see you.
Yeah, no worries. All right, so for the record, Rob, I know you, but if you could state for the record your name and basically why you want to be the building commissioner for the town of Halifax.
My name's Rob Piccirilli. I'd like to be the building commissioner for the town of Halifax because I think I have the experience to hit the ground running. I'm familiar with the town. I did previously work in the town. I've worked as commissioner in other towns. So I think I can add to the community. I live in the community, and that's why I like to work for the town of Halifax.
And you have all your commissioner certificates?
Yes, I
You're
do.
keeping up to speed on all the ever-changing
Have all the
codes and
credits.
requirements? And,
Correct.
yeah, a little bit on your history, Rob, some of the bigger projects you've handled, some of the zoning enforcement issues that you've tackled in your career?
So in the town, I worked as a local inspector for 15 years, commissioner for 6 years. I worked in Harwich for 6 months, and I worked in Whitman for 3 years. I've worked in Whitman. I dealt with around $100 million DPW, $138 million middle school that was going in. So I was on the start of that. Had some zoning issues down in Harwich where we had a corrective issue of order on a building that was currently under repairs. So that was a zoning issue that I had to deal with down there, and I've had some zoning issues in Halifax that I had to deal with.
An example, Rob, of either a stop order or conflict, or I guess your style as building commissioner, how do you handle each and every case? You know, I know everyone's individual, but is there an approach that you try to use with all your stuff?
Sure, and again, each one's individual, so it depends on what's going on. I usually try to approach it fairly. I'll send a letter out and say they're potentially in violation. Please come see me within a certain amount of days so we can correct the issues. I want to hear their side of the story, and then go from there. If it proceeds from there, then I'd have to take issues where it would need to go to a stop order, where there may need to be an injunction put on it or whatnot, and go to court. So, been to court in Whitman, had a mediation that worked out fine, and didn't have to go to court. So
Great. And then as well, in the last year, we've developed an online permitting program. How familiar are you with online permitting softwares?
So I had online permitting in Whitman. We had Permit Eyes. I dealt with that for 3 years. That was pretty seamless. And when I was in Harwich, I helped implement OpenGov.
Okay.
It was just starting when I was in there, but I helped implement it and put it into process.
Great. All right. I kind of flew through my questions. Guys, do you have any questions you'd like to ask?
Yeah, I have a couple. So I just wanted to extrapolate on one of those points. You're familiar with stretch code, green, emerging trends with, new energy, sustainable sources and so forth? All up to date on those things?
Yep. Halifax is in the stretch zone, so I'm familiar with it.
Yes, we
Whitman
are.
was in the stretch zone.
And then, not to get too deep into the weeds, but you mentioned some zoning issues in Harwich. That looked like a short-term thing. Was it a distance thing for you? I know you're local here to Halifax, but
So it was I'll try to summarize it. The previous inspector had given a permit on a fairly large remodel on a restaurant, nightclub, pub type of thing that was on the water. It had issues with conservation, had issues with the flood zone, fire department and whatnot. The builder, for some reason, decided not to go forward with the project. So the owner came back to me for another permit. I couldn't grant that permit based on the fact that there were other issues in town and it didn't meet the building code.
Okay.
So it was fairly substantial, but it was able to be taken care of up front.
Okay.
And it didn't go into.
And then lastly, I asked the previous candidate about travel and commitment time-wise. Obviously, the time thing is the travel is not a consideration for you, but I don't want to speak for anybody else here, but I think we'd like to see somebody here for a number of years, not a short term, and be back right where we sit here 6 months from now. The plan would be to commit for a number of years. And
I'd like to commit for at least a minimum of 5 years. I mean, I'm 60 years old. If I can go to 70, God willing, health being, then that would be the case, but.
But the plan is this is not a stopgap. This is the hope for foreseeable future for you.
If Halifax is willing to have me and we can come to an agreement, yes.
Okay, that's what I had for the moment.
Bill?
Have you in the past had any construction projects, or are you planning any future construction projects in the town of Halifax?
Have I in the past had any construction? So I was in business for 30 years. I had my own business. When I was a local inspector, I worked for the town of Halifax for 2 hours a week. So yes, I've had some projects. I no longer have a business, so I'm now no longer looking to do projects.
Okay. How do you ensure the building meet accessibility requirements for people with disabilities?
Okay, so part of the building code obviously is 521 CMR. That would be part of the permitting process. So when the permits come in, that would have to be looked at to make sure that meets that requirement.
Okay.
All right.
And I just had one more, just
Yeah,
to follow up.
go
I
ahead.
mean, you have, obviously with your experience in Harwich and or Whitman, you have experience with clerical staff, a staff working under you and supporting you and working together in collaboration?
Yes,
I
I do.
assume?
Yes. I had 2 admins in Harwich, and I worked but I worked in tandem with a planner, so I'm familiar.
A little bit different scenario here, Rob, as where you live in the town here. Do you find that as a help or a hindrance as far as being able to separate church and state a little bit? We're seeing folks around town, or some folks might think it makes the job easier. Some folks might think it make it a little more challenging. So I wonder what your approach is on that.
I've seen it both ways. I've dealt with it both ways. I think the good thing about living in town is, and I don't know how it's been addressed recently, but it's basically 24-hour service job. I've worked very closely with the fire departments in Harwich. I worked closely with the fire department in Halifax and also in Whitman. I still get calls from the Whitman fire chief, just to pick my brain. But when there's an emergency, under the building code, I am the individual that needs to deem a structure unsafe. So I worked in tandem with the fire department. If there's a fire in a house, usually the fire department calls me. I go out to deem it, whether it's safe for the people to inhabit or not, and things along those lines. I don't know how that's been done in Halifax in the recent years, but how is it living in town? It's good and bad. There's a lot of people don't take kindly to this job. It's, when you have to tell somebody they can't do something or tell somebody no, they take offense to it. So
Yeah. I know.
It's the nature of the beast.
Yeah. All right. I appreciate that answer. Anything else from the board? All right. Thank you, Rob. Anything else for us?
No, I think we're good. I
Okay.
just-
Thank you, Russ.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, we're running ahead of schedule. Your Board of Selectmen's a very efficient body here. We're flying through things. So I think we have H, right? We have tithe and bond.
Oh, yeah.
So as we wait for the next window to open up for the next candidate, we'll take care of H on your agenda, which is review and approve tie and bond proposed amendment number 2 to the landfill post-closure testing contract in the amounts of $15,000 to perform additional PFAS coordination, sampling, and reporting as newly required by DEP in the fiscal year 2026 for a total amended contract amount of $93,500. So essentially, we have been testing for PFAS. I'm sure most of you folks here in the audience have heard about PFAS and the concerns over the health and safety of folks with PFAS. So the town has entered into an agreement with Tithe and Bond to do well monitoring for our landfill here on Hemlock, which is behind the town hall. Used to be the town landfill, it's now capped. So this looks like it would be extending, in my reading of this contract, we would be extending into 2026 with the current agreement with Tithe and Bond. And I believe it's an additional $15,000, which I believe will bring us to summer 2026.
Correct.
So, was it June or July? Did you guys see that date?
It says spring 2026.
Yeah, so 2026, it's obviously something that we have to stay on top of. We want to make sure that our residents are safe. So, in my opinion, this is something that I think the board should act on and make sure that we're monitoring those wells to make sure all our levels are safe.
I just looking for a date. There was no specific date.
No, yeah, it doesn't, it just says spring.
Spring, okay.
Maybe end of the second quarter, maybe, June 30.
Okay.
kind of thing.
Let me see, I swear I thought I saw a date, but maybe it was a signature date.
We've already paid the fall fee?
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, regardless, it'll get us into the, late spring, early summer, so,
I mean, given the importance and severity of the issue, I'm not sure that we have another,
yeah, completely agree.
Yeah, I'd make that motion.
Okay, you want to spell it out, or?
Sure. I would entertain a motion to approve the proposed amendment number 2 with tie and bond to the landfill post-closure testing contract in the amount of $15,000 to perform additional PFAS coordination, sampling, and reporting as newly required by DEP in fiscal 2026 for a total amended contract amount of $93,500.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, passes unanimous. Thank you. All right, we got time. Man, we are cooking with gas. Unfortunately, we don't have Bob tonight for his town administrator update, so that's normally a standing item on our agenda. Bob is under the weather.
I'm fine.
Well, for now, give it about a day, and you'll be in trouble. But yeah, we're just gonna wait, I guess, for Mr. McGrady. Oh, perfect timing.
perfect timing.
There you are. We're running a little ahead of schedule. Mr. McGrady, if that's okay with you, can we take you a little earlier than anticipated? Certainly. Awesome, come on down to the hot seat. Actually, before you do, I'm Jonathan Seelig, nice to meet you.
Thanks so much, Mr.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tom Pratt. Pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
Shall I sit here in the hot
Yeah,
seat?
absolutely. I guess my first question, you like William, Bill, Will, what's your preferred?
William's fine. Bill-
William? Okay.
Bill's fine.
All right, whatever you like. I guess your first question's the easy one. Tell us about yourself and why you want to be building commissioner here in Halifax.
Okay, let's see, I have 2 beautiful kids, 2 beautiful daughters. I'm a longtime resident of Tiverton, Rhode Island. I now currently reside in Fall River, Mass. I've been a building official since 2005. Got my commissioner's certificate, fully certified. And let's see, I've worked in several communities. I worked in Fall River, Mass for about 10 years. I was the commissioner in North Attleboro for 4 years. And I've worked in a few communities around. And as I tell everyone, everything I know, comes from construction my whole life. I was in the field for, oh God, 40 years or so, and then became a building commissioner. So, you know, technically, I'm well-schooled on all the updated advancements, the permit software systems. I have extensive knowledge in zoning, some planning, you know, and I guess I coached high school football for 20 years. I now coach a semi-professional team on the side, so much less work, believe me when I tell you, in Fall River. That's about it, I guess. I guess the reason I'd want to become a building official in Halifax, because you have a beautiful little community. It's really appealing to have a full-time position, be 4 days a week. I know one of your former commissioners very well. He said he's always enjoyed working here, the people, the community, all the above. And I know I have the strengths and technical skills, soft skills, and the office administrative skills to do the job.
Talk to me a little bit, if you can, about some of the various projects you've been involved with. We're at a time here in Halifax, I don't know if you've driven through lately, for Little Halifax, we have a lot going on right now. Talk to us about this, maybe the size and scope of some of the different projects that you've been involved with over the years.
My God, everything from a kitchen renovation or a shed in a backyard to multi-story 40B complexes, hotels, just many, too many to list.
Okay.
I have extensive knowledge in commercial construction as well as residential. I did both over the years. And I keep abreast of all the technical updates and such, you know, through my SEMBOA, which is Southeastern Massachusetts Building Officials Association. You know, we have to maintain 45 credit units, hours, as they say, every 3 years, a 3-year period. So we're in the first year of the cycle. I think I have 40, so we have a few to get, and that carries year to year.
Okay. Talk to me, as part of this position, you're our zoning enforcement officer. How familiar are you with that part of the job, and maybe examples of zoning enforcement that you've done in the past, and how you approach that part of this position?
Well, I like to tell everybody that I'll deliver bad news, which we have to do on a regular basis, with a smile on my face and at least a possible avenue for the applicant to explore, whether that be special permit, variance, whatever the case may be. I do talk about Fall River a lot because it's where I cut my teeth, and it was the greatest experience for me ever because I worked for a very seasoned commissioner. We had legal, we were on the 5th floor, legal was on the 6th floor, so if I ever had any type of a question, problem, zoning issue, you know, it was right there for me. So, and I understand it's, you know, legal counsel is very expensive. So I, you know, always would either check with the administrator or what have you. If it was something large, something that was really coming down the pike, you know, just to make sure to let him know that, you know, this is on the radar. You know, this is something that we gotta be prepared for, you know, so that we can protect, you know, the public, all the constituents, the town, myself, so that we make sure that we have a solid footing to stand on all the time.
Okay, and go ahead.
And when I make, you know, decisions, like I said, I like to, you know, give everyone the opportunity. I'll even go as far as sometimes to say, listen, I think this is a good, solid plan. It depends upon how you represent yourself in front of the ZBA. I'll endorse it. You know, say that it's something that is, you know, not going to derogate from the intent of the zoning ordinance or, you know, the neighborhood itself. And, you know, then have the ZBA take a look, and, you know, that way everybody can get a little kick at the can, so to speak.
Great. One other question before I turn it over. We recently switched over to online permitting. How familiar are you with the online permitting softwares out there, and you think you could assimilate?
When I worked in, it's OpenGov.
Yep.
Very well versed.
Okay.
I used it for 4 years in North Attleboro. So that's not a problem at all. In fact, I find it to be the best. That's another attractive point for me for Halifax, because I know what a great system that is. Currently, I'm using a system that is not it's not friendly to the end user. Some departments are not tied in with it. You know, at our first interview, I did discover that all town departments are, interconnected, so that with a push of a button, I can give everybody, if I'm looking at a house that I'm ready to go with, I can alert Concom, Board of Health, DPW, fire department, whomever the case may be, right down the line, so they can all, tax, collector, so that they can at least, get back to me and say, I have nothing with this, or hold on to this, would you please, because I have something that, they have to take care of us before we can move forward.
Excellent. All right, again, I've kind of zipped through my questions. Rest of the board have any?
Just the same couple, emerging trends and building practices, sustainable practices, stretch code, green building initiatives, all familiar, up to date on all those initiatives?
Absolutely, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Longevity, not to pin you down here, but what's the plan? I don't think we want to be back here in 6 months.
No,
doing this again.
absolutely not.
You're looking to make a commitment to the town for
I certainly am.
a period of time?
Yeah, there's
okay.
no,
And then, it seems like you've had a couple different experiences over the last some odd years about different towns. Anything stand out to you about what makes a town worthwhile for your time in terms of your employment versus
I think
things
that,
might struggle?
as being a football coach, I'm big on the team concept, and collaboration is key. So I think that, the open lines of communication, especially with the fire department, for me, is one of the biggest, because we do so much work together. Public safety inspections, whatever the case may be, any type of a building renovation, sprinklered or not. So I think it's really important to have those type of relationships. And I've heard nothing but good things about the town, fiscally responsible, so I'm not gonna be worried myself either. What's happening here, is something gonna be cut? I'd like to have, this maybe be my last home that I have to,
Okay. And then just lastly, in terms of a geographic location, seems like you're down in the 195, 79, Tiverton, Swansea, Fall River area. Commute's not a problem, commitment's not a problem.
I did it in, this exact same commute to
North Attleboro?
North Attleboro for me. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm doing some, I'm part-time in Dayton now. And it takes me, believe it or not, almost a half hour to get to Dayton, as it does to here, because of just,
Yeah.
it's sort of out there. So, yeah, I mean, geographically, that's not an issue at all.
Not prohibitive, okay.
So,
Bill, you got anything?
Just got a couple. Have you in the past had any construction projects in the town of Halifax, or are you planning any future
I have not,
projects
and I am
in the
not.
future? None?
no, I hung up my tools I just do it for family and friends now.
And one more. How do you ensure that the buildings meet accessibility requirements for people with disabilities?
Wow, thank you. I'm glad you brought that up. I was the ADA coordinator and head of the COC in North Attleboro for those 4 years. So we would meet monthly. I have excellent contact at the Architectural Access Board, which is what we enforce, not as much as ADA compliance, because ADA encompasses so much, but it's, the AAB that's our governing body here in Massachusetts. So, yeah, I've spent a lot of time, in fact, the old Tom Rogers was a wonderful guy that used to speak to us all the time. He's since passed on, but he was a wealth of knowledge for me as a young building commissioner. I used to lean on him for any question or concern, and I still do. I lean on those agencies, state inspectors. I have a great network of state inspectors that I know and can reach out to, planners, just, agents in general that, I bounce things off of too. We all kind of do that. Because let's face it, we're all doing the same job. It's just a different community.
Sure.
And a lot of the same issues just come up again and again and again. Doesn't matter the location, where you are, and you always get a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So
Keeps the job fun.
it does.
There you go.
I love it. I mean, I don't want to retire. I'm not ready for that part of my life yet. So, and I think I have a lot to offer and a lot in the tank to go. So,
Great.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tom, you said you had one more question.
So I have one more question that I didn't ask all three candidates, so I don't know if the other two and plus yourself would be willing to oblige and entertain me here. I just read the job description for the second time, and I don't see it in here specifically. But I think one of the past practices of at least one, if not several, building inspectors that we've had, building commissioners that we've had, they've been available or made a point to be available at all or at the request of the planning board or the zoning board of appeals at their meetings, either in person or via Zoom, which I'm not sure it's required. I didn't see that it was required, but I'd imagine it would be. I'm not on those boards and never have been. I'd imagine it's helpful in some situations.
Typically, in the past, what I've always done is reach out to the chairman of the ZBA and have either some type of a sit down with them to review what we have coming for that month.
Okay.
And if it's, if there's certain things, like it's a special permit to, raise a roof or what have you, it's just legal non-conforming. It's not gonna, alter the structure, anything like that. Some of the easier ones. And then if there's some type of a problem and they invite me or ask me specifically to sit on that meeting, I have no issue
Either in
with that.
person or via Zoom, you'd be available.
Absolutely.
With notice.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Typically, in most communities, we've always done it that way. In North Attleboro, I don't think I went to maybe one ZBA meeting the whole time I was there 4 years.
Okay.
When I worked for Mattapoisett, they wanted me there for everyone.
Okay.
Regardless.
So you'd be willing to, you're amenable to working with the chair of the committee if your
Absolutely.
presence
In
or...
fact, I would give them,
Okay.
for that month's agenda, I would let them know, this is the reason, this is the section and verse, this is why we're sending them for relief. And, in my opinion, this does not meet the general intent of the zoning enforcement, zoning ordinance, or it does.
Okay.
And, I support, or I strongly suggest, you take a hard look at this. Because sometimes it could be a conflict of interest. And I went through this, where, the zoning board during the middle of the meeting will say, well, what if we decide to do this? Mr. Commissioner, is that okay if we do this? And I'm like, no. It's, you're breaking the open meeting law, all these other things that are, so important, so.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not,
okay.
not objecting.
And I don't know if there's Rob or William
Yeah.
to come up or...
I
Rob.
don't know if we can hear you.
Yeah, if you want to just reverse order Rob.
So I've been in 3 different towns and each board wanted something different. In Whitman, they pretty much wanted me at every meeting. Harwich, they didn't want me at any meetings.
Yeah.
And Halifax, previously, they would have me at some meetings.
Yeah.
That's their jurisdiction. If
Yeah.
they want me there, I will certainly be there to give them my
Absolutely.
advice.
They need support. They need support, that's,
So Rob, you're also available and amenable.
On their request.
Okay. And William, Bill?
Mike?
Mike, sorry,
Mike.
Mike, yeah, sorry.
Yes, as I said, I sit on the zoning board, so I require the building inspector to come. If it's a case requiring him there, if it's against his decision, he needs to be there to support himself. You don't go to court without both sides. So there's no reason for that individual to have to wait another month for the board to talk to the building official. It needs to be taken care of then and move forward.
Okay. I apologize that I forgot to ask that.
okay.
I wanted to...
yeah, no, that's fine. Well, however, whatever the standard operating procedure has been here, that's fine. But I would make it, they would already know where I stood. That's my point.
Okay.
I make it very clear, so, I mean, as far as defending myself, that's what the action is. That's why I'm sending you. So, but I'm amenable to do it any way you wish.
Okay. Great. Anything else from the board?
No.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Maybe just a general comment. I don't know what your appetite here is for this, but I always think it's nice when we have multiple candidates who fit the bill and put themselves out there, and I think we have a tough call here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a,
Appreciative of all three of your resumes and your interest, for sure.
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
To echo what Tom said, there are many positions that we have that we can't, I'll be quite frank, can't find qualified candidates. And this is a case of 3 very qualified candidates. So knock on wood, this trend continues, because we do have a couple other key positions that we need to fill. I'll entertain a motion. What does the board want to do here? Do we want to make our decision this evening? Does the board need more time to think? What's the pleasure of the board right now? Don't all speak at once.
I might like a little more time, I think.
Tom?
I mean, I could see this going a number of ways. I mean, I would be leaning in one direction. But I'm not opposed to more time and thought if we need be. The only comment I would have is that we're not scheduled to meet
Till January, yeah.
until mid-January, which is another 3.5 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, again, I use this analogy a lot, and I apologize, but again, it's what flavor of ice cream you like. I think, again, all three are terrific. I think you're all, we have your resumes up here. You all three, I think, can do a great job on this position. It's tough. It's an extremely tough call, but that's why they put us here, to try to cut through this. So, I guess if push come to shove, I could make a decision tonight.
I mean, if we want to do it, I'll do it tonight, but it's up to the board.
So what do we do?
Someone make a motion?
You guys want? I'll entertain a motion if somebody wants to make a motion. And again, I think if we are going to make a motion, fellas, it's obviously to offer in condition of background checks, Corey checks, and all the necessary background information pending. So,
I'll make a motion to appoint Michael S. Brogan as the building commissioner for the town of Halifax.
Second.
all right, I have a motion and a second to make Michael Brogan the building commissioner for the town of Halifax. Do you want to amend that bill to include pending background
Pending backgrounds, Corey, and salary
and salary
negotiations.
negotiations?
So-
Okay, I have a motion and a second.
Second. So moved.
Second that
So moved.
amendment. Okay. All right, all those in favor of Michael Brogan?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimous. Guys, again, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Thank you again. All right, those are always tough. Those are always tough. So we've gone a little faster than we thought, ladies and gentlemen, in that we don't have our water commissioners and superintendents here until 7. So I think instead of just hanging around, we're going to entertain a motion, I guess, to take a bathroom break recess, and we'll try to reconvene about 5 minutes to 7 to continue that part of tonight's meeting. So I'll entertain that motion to recess until 6:55.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimous. We'll see everybody at 6:55. Again, sorry for the gap in between events tonight. All right, if I could get everyone's attention, it is 7 o'clock. I'd like to reconvene the Board of Selectmen meeting here in Halifax in the Great Hall for Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. We had to take a small bathroom break because we had gone through our agenda so quickly, so I'd just like to open the meeting back up. Thank you guys for being here. I know we have a contingent online as well. So I'll go first. I just wanted to offer our water department a chance here to inform the residents about what's going on, what efforts they're making in the water department to try to help with our water. And I know they have meetings regularly, but I think this gives them an opportunity. It's almost like going prime time, right, where you're going to have more eyes and more ears. So if the board would like, I'd like to offer it out to our superintendent and our commissioners, if they'd like to come down and just kind of give us a briefing on what's up with the Halifax water situation and how we're working on ways to improve that going forward. So Dick, I know you're here. If you want to come down, or Bill, whoever you'd like to. Yep, Bill, you want to come down?
I think the superintendent, and this is John Gregory.
Sure. And what I'll need you guys to do, Bill, I need you to do is just say your name and identify yourself, just because there are folks at home that won't know who you are, so just so people know.
Bill Lindsay, the water superintendent.
Yep, and yourself, sir?
John Gregory, I'm with Tate & Howard, consulting engineer for the water department.
Excellent. Okay. Bill, I guess I'll open it up to you here. I will say that the board has received a lot of notifications from folks about water quality. And I just wanted to give you the opportunity here to explain to the people what the water department's doing to try to remedy these, and what the plan is going forward for folks.
Yeah, we were hoping to flush hydrants back in October. I think we mentioned that at our last meeting with you guys, that as long as the Richmond Park plant was up and running, we were gonna flush hydrants. During one of our commissioner meetings, one of the wells at the Y camp went down. It was just pumping out dirty water, right, nonstop. We had that cleaned, we had to pull that, clean it. They replaced a bunch of parts on it. In the meantime, we're running Richmond Park, and we continue to have the same problems that we had back in August, September, with automated valves not working. So we can't run the plant when the valves don't open when they're supposed to, or close when they're supposed to. A couple of weeks ago, we had the company from the valve company down. They had to replace the insides of the valve on the filter too, because it broke. There's some part inside that hits a metal rod, and after so many times it cracks and breaks, the valve stops opening and closing. They came down last week to replace it, then they decided to do filter 3 because last, July or June, they did filter 1. So they figured, be proactive, filter 2 just broke, let's do filter 3. They put all new parts in, stainless steel disc instead of the cast iron, and it's leaking. So you still can't run it, and now they're waiting on parts to get shipped out, so they're gonna rebuild the entire inside of the valve without removing the valve from the pipes. So we know there's a lot of iron and manganese in the water from not flushing. I thought it was just a year, but I think the project actually started in the beginning of 2024. So it's probably been 2 cycles of not being able to flush. And we had a leak on Home Street a couple weeks ago where we had to shut down the water main. When we refilled it, that stirred up all the iron and manganese. That made everything worse, put some air in the system from, draining down. Last week, I spent all week opening hydrants in the area of Home Street, Colby Drive, McClellan, all down there, trying to get clear water through and get all the iron out. I even sat at the hydrant on Oak Street at the end of the town line. Figure I'll pull everything out that way, and it was near the woods, so I wouldn't get anything in the street, so nothing was gonna freeze and cause any accidents. There were days it would take 40 minutes for the hydrant to clear, and there's times it takes 10, and I'll let it run an extra 10, and basically that's sort of the solution for now until we can get flushing done.
So I guess the question I have is, our plan going forward, what do you see as the fix for the issues that we're having here? What's the final goal that our water
Final goal,
department's trying
stop
to...
flushing and get all that out. We know that, we knew back in September that was the problem. We knew we had the tank cleaned on October 1st. That didn't have a lot of iron.
You said it was actually pretty good shape.
Yeah,
right?
they said it was less than the last 2 times they cleaned it.
Okay.
So we know that whatever wasn't in there is out in the system. And
Okay.
the only way to clean it out is to flush the hydrants.
And you think the not flushing for the last 2 cycles is what's leading to
Between that,
these water issues?
Brockton, when we took on Brockton Water and their chlorine was higher than ours, and it was running backwards down Home Street, it just clogged up the water main with the iron and manganese.
Okay.
And then we couldn't flush 24, and we couldn't flush this year. Yeah.
Any insights from you as to what we're experiencing
I
here?
think Bill has said exactly what we're all thinking here. It's a flushing issue. That's basically the fact that that could not be done is the issue.
Okay.
And, with Richmond Park being down and the treatment that's there, that kind of contributes to the issue. So, it's just a matter of working diligently to get everything back up 100% running for Richmond Park, which we are working with the water department to do right at present.
And I would assume you work with other communities as well? And issues like this in the past, have you seen that flushing is the key to fixing these issues, or are there other issues?
Typically, yes.
Okay.
Yes, flushing programs need to be implemented, especially in particular with communities that experience iron and manganese issues in their drinking water.
Okay. Any questions from the board, guys?
Yeah, I just have a couple, I guess. thank you both for being here. I think there's some employees here, the water commissioners as well. Fairly short notice to ask you to be here, and I appreciate the effort on all of your behalf.
Here, here.
So thank you for that. You know, I think that the last meeting we had, it got a little contentious, and I'm pleased to hear that this meeting the tone seems better, looking to solve things rather than stir up the pot maybe a little bit. I guess my thing is this just bad luck? Because what I'm hearing is a lot of moving targets. In May at our town meeting, we were told by a water commissioner that it would just be a matter of days until Richmond Park was back up. And I guess we should have been clearer what a number of days meant, because now we're going on 8 or 9 months for that number of days. And the moving target of September, now October, now it's too late to flush, and now we're just, I don't want to say punting it, but we're moving it to the spring and hoping that the flush is the solution. I didn't really hear that it would be the solution. I heard that we're hoping. So I guess, you know, I don't want to speak for anybody else up here. You know, people blame the town for the water. The water department, as we know, is a different entity. They're an enterprise fund. Taxes are being paid to the town, distributed to the water department, et cetera. So what are we to tell taxpayers? Is this the best that we can do? Is just kick it down the road for 6 months? Is that the best solution that we have? And I'm not placing blame, because I don't know anything about water. I have no solution to offer. I have no constructive criticism that would be beneficial to you all, because you know more than I do. And that's not being sarcastic, that's the truth. I don't know. But our position is that, you know, we're elected representatives, like the water commissioners, answering to a town that is looking for answers on a number of things about the water. And we have nothing to tell them time after time. So I'm hoping that flushing solves it, but it sure feels like it's a moving target and a hope that springtime shows different results.
I think the second year I was here, I believe 2022 and 2023, we were flushing pretty good. We were, you know, April and October. I don't think we had as many complaints about the water back then. And then when this project started, it's just from the iron and manganese that's been sitting in the water main. And the only way to get rid of it is to flush it out. There's parts of town that don't have any problems. I talk to people that work in the building, tell me all the time, I see all these complaints, but my water's great. And I say, well, you're just one person. Mm-hmm. But you cannot have it, and your neighbor would get it, and there's no rhyme or reason how it happens. But as long as it's sitting in that water main, when something happens, when there's a fire and it stirs it up, it sits around for a couple of days. So flushing is probably 90% gonna fix it. That and Richmond Park back online. Richmond Park filters out the iron and manganese and feeds everything down Home Street, Oak Street, all that side of town, because of where Richmond Park is located.
Do we have, and again, I'm going to echo what Tom said. Thank you guys for coming in. I sincerely appreciate it. Do we have a time frame on Richmond Park being fully operational, ready to go? Because I know it's been...
Well, it's been running, like up until this incident happened, it ran all of October and half of November before this incident happened.
And how, before October, so before that, I guess, how long had it been offline before October?
God, August of '24.
Yeah, it was about a year.
About a year offline?
Yeah.
Okay.
So and again, I don't know much, but was there a period of time when Richmond Park was up and running in September that we could have flushed before October?
It was, I think it was 10 days at the end of September.
Not enough time?
No.
You know, the water department has what's called a unidirectional flushing program, which has been generated to flush the system, sources, tanks out in one direction to keep all of the dirty water moving away from any mains that have already been flushed. And that's separated out into multiple zones, strategically done through a computer program and modeling program. And the water department needs a sufficient amount of time to be able to do that. Time of day, I think, Bill, you typically do that at nighttime,
Yep.
correct?
Yep.
And you know, this determines the volume and the amount of water, scouring velocity that you need to put through these mains to get a very good flush of the system. And the water department has had this program for a number of years, so you know, I think there's pretty good confidence that flushing is going to do the trick here.
Do we, so, oh, you have something else?
So say again, what is the actual problem with Richmond Park?
There's automated valves that have a diaphragm in them that opens and closes to let the water in and out.
Yeah.
And there's 2 discs that, one on each side of the diaphragm. Apparently, which I guess is just our luck, the valve distributor says 99% of the time they have no problems with this valve. There's a rod that goes through it to stop the valve from opening up too much.
Yeah.
And every time it opens up, the outside disc hits this metal rod. And then it goes back, and every time it hits it, it ended up cracking it. And once it cracks, now it's not holding the diaphragm, so now when it opens, the diaphragm just stays open. It just stays open. And the day we noticed it, the well was running, and we dropped 2 feet of water in the tank because it was going out of the well, through the filters, and out into the lagoon.
So this is all part of the rebuild?
Yep.
So are we paying for this, or is this all under warranty, or is
It's
it
all covered under warranty.
for how long?
I think they said, I think the distributor said they were gonna cover it till at least February. Because I mean, everything's been in since,
And is there a company doing the installation?
yeah, it's Lions. They're the company that's fixing, is
Yeah,
it
they're
ML Lions?
the sales rep
Yep.
for Clayton.
And they come in and do the work right there.
I mean, it seems we should be holding their feet to the fire. They're the ones that aren't providing the service.
Well, I think they've been pretty good about getting the parts, and, I mean, he was down, 2 days last week, and he came down the 3rd day to try to sand down the parts to see if he could get them to fix, because it was leaking. And their response, I think, is pretty good.
Yeah.
They come out, they spend some time fixing it, and as soon as he gets the parts, he's back down. It doesn't matter if it's late on a Friday, he tries to get down and get it done. I think he was here last Thursday till 4:30.
So Bill, do we have a ballpark on when this issue will be resolved? Do we as far as the valves hitting and Richmond getting completely squared away to how we need it to
If this
be?
is the only problem so far that we have run into, I
Yeah.
think once they fix the valves, that should be it. Because they're putting all new, getting rid of the cast iron and putting in stainless steel. So
Okay.
I think once he fixes this 3rd valve, it's just gonna be a matter of letting it run and watching the numbers and letting it run in auto during the day and at night.
Have they given you any sort of time estimate or ballpark?
I think he was hoping to have the parts by the end of this week.
The end of this
Yeah.
week here? Okay. All right, and then as far as flushing goes, you're thinking, what, March to try to get the flushing going
That's
as
what
soon as
I'm
we
hoping.
can?
I mean, like last time I was hoping for October, but I'm hoping March as soon as it's not gonna freeze.
Okay.
And, I mean, the whole department is not happy with this because they were looking forward to flushing in October for the overtime.
Sure.
You know, because they didn't get any the year before, and they were looking forward to getting, and we all know that as soon as we flush, it's gonna fix all this dirty water problems.
I guess my question, Bill, is if we get Richmond Park squared away, we flush the bejesus out of this thing in March, right? And we still have water issues. Do you think it would behoove the town to maybe bring in like a third party to kind of look at the whole system from a different set of eyes to, soup to nuts, look at everything and make sure that there isn't any sort of underlying issue? Again, that's if the flushing doesn't work, and Richmond Park's fix doesn't work. Do we think it would be in our interest to bring somebody in to take a head-to-toe look at our whole water structure to make sure that we're running as good as we can run? Just a ballpark here.
But the Y Camp wells have the iron and manganese, and there's no filter system over there. So I've been working with DEP to try to get some grants. I just had one of the guys over there send me an email about a company that deals with it, and they set us up with an engineer for emerging contaminants, for just an engineering aspect to come out, look at the system, and see what they can offer. And that's a grant from DEP, they're just paying for the engineer.
Okay.
So, I mean, there is other things that we're trying to look into also, you
Sure.
know?
And in your exposure, not to go down this road, but in your exposure, in your investigation with grants, has MBTA compliance affect any of that?
Nobody said anything to me about it yet.
Okay. Okay.
Hopefully it
Good.
doesn't.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Anything else from the board?
I mean, you know, I can appreciate the difficult situation, but I'm not really sure I heard an answer to the taxpayer who's paying for the water. Would you drink it if you lived here? Would you bathe in it if you lived here?
Depends on how bad it looks. It's just the, well, what DEP likes to say, it's
There's
just,
there's a glass right behind you.
it,
Would you drink that, because that came out again,
no.
time this afternoon.
So the problem,
Right.
the problem is that you have a lot of hopefullys and maybes here,
Right.
but that's the reality of a lot of people in town is the problem. And so I can appreciate the maybes and timelines and the best efforts of a lot of people. It doesn't help a lot of people who have
Right.
that to bathe in, to drink in, and so forth. And that's the issue. So I can appreciate everybody showing up tonight, and that's a tough thing to do, and I appreciate that. The town should.
Yeah.
But without concrete answers, that's a lot of hopefullys and a lot of maybes and a lot of pushing it down the road.
But if you look in the jar, that's the iron on the bottom.
So you would drink
That's
it?
the
So
si-
you drink the top of it?
If you want me to.
I'm not asking you to. I'm not recommending it. Obviously, it's not a good situation. I'm just trying to highlight the fact that it's not good.
But that's what happens in the water main. It sits there, and then something happens, it stirs it up. I ran the hydrant in her backyard last week, I ran the hydrant down the street, I ran the hydrant at the corner of Kobe Drive and Oak Street, and the one at the end of Oak, I mean, when the water comes out of the hydrant clear, it should be clear in the water mains, because it's the same water. The hydrant doesn't get different water. So if
Okay.
the hydrant in front of your house is clean and the next one's clean, the water should be clean. There's a chance that something stirs it up and if you pull it back into your house.
What's the age of these water mains?
Some of them go back to the 50s.
1950s.
But I think Oak Street might not be that old, maybe? Is Oak,
I don't know.
Oak Street?
What was the question?
How old is it down Oak Street, Kobe Drive?
The 50s or 60s?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just a difficult sell to tell people, hopefully hang on 4 or 5 months. That's just hard.
Yeah.
Because they blame the town, and yeah, we are the town, but the water department's different. And I'm not looking to pass the buck. Well, I'm happy to answer the questions. But I can't give any answers. The answers don't come from us.
Yeah.
So it's easy to say, call the water department, document your findings and so forth, but we're really just hoping that this all works and bad luck doesn't continue. That's a lot to ask people who are paying a pretty penny for all their taxes in town. That's my opinion. So we're kind of charged with representing the town, and I know everyone's doing I trust that everybody's doing the best that they can, but at this point, I haven't heard anything tonight that's more than hopefully it works.
A good flushing of putting money on it, I bet anything you want on it. It's gonna-
I'm going to bet you $1, Dick.
But Dick, here's the
Bet you
problem.
$1.
We heard that in May at the town meeting, sir. That's the problem.
Let me finish. Because we haven't done flushing in a while, and the reason I say it's gonna work, because it has in the past, where we used to do it on a regular basis. But now we haven't done that. A good flushing is gonna make a tremendous amount of difference.
Hopefully. But the problem is we heard that in May, sir, as well.
But we didn't flush.
Right. But we heard,
Is that why? It's because of the valves and the.
How many valves have you replaced? Maybe looking into maybe another issue that's causing it?
No,
How many we do?
Got,
there's only three, what he's talking about, there's only three that we parked, we replaced them, all three of them. The problem that was had with the flushing was not the valve, it was with the wells that supply the water to do the flushing. That went down on us. And you're right about what you were saying, but there's a lot of bad luck going on here. A lot of things that we didn't expect to happen. And I'm glad that we admit to that, we had a lot of problems that nobody saw.
Are the other wells outfitted with the stainless valve yet, or still iron? Because we have 4 wells, right?
We have 4 wells, but
So do we have any other cast iron valves still?
the valves are in the building, not at the wells. In the.
But you said the fix is gonna be installed in stainless steel valves.
Right, but that's in the Richmond.
in the Richmond Park building.
Right, so we're gonna replace all the valves to stainless then?
Right, there's 3 of them.
Yeah, in the valves in the building. Yep. And again, guys, I appreciate everybody being here. And I know people are heated about this, and I completely understand. But we want to make this as productive as we can, right? I do feel like, I know a lot of the water folks, I know, you know, they feel this too, right? They don't want to provide the product like that woman just brought in. You know, it's on their shoulders too, and I know they're upset, and I know they're trying their best. So I hope that, while obviously let your concerns out here, I hope we could try to move forward to come up with a solution to go forward to fix this. Dick, so the person speaking was Dick Clark. He's a longtime commissioner, has been superintendent in this town for, 40 years, Dick, you've been around? So,
I've been with the department, I was superintendent for 20 years. I've been with the water department for 40 years.
so Dick's been here a long time. And I do say that if he says a good flushing will take care of a lot of this, I have no reason to doubt that personally. But again, I know folks are upset. Ma'am, I can't believe that came out of your faucet.
I've been dealing with that for 13 days.
Yeah, you know, and we're around the holidays.
It's crazy.
Do laundry, can't wash dishes, I'm buying bottled waters left and right.
Yeah.
This is not.
No, it's-
I should not have to be dealing with that, and that is
That's
settled.
not potable water.
That's not potable water, you can't.
Correct.
boil it.
I'm paying for.
And I am gonna have it tested to see actually, what is it, what's coming out of it.
Sure.
We've had a lot of 40-degree days, there's no, we should be able to flush. If you're able to flush on all of Holmes Street, Colby Drive, Brandeis, Harvard, everywhere
bring
else,
up the
why
standards.
are you not flushing other places on warm days? I don't wanna hear about it because it's icy, we can't do this because the valve broke, we've already replaced it, then that breaks, now we gotta wait again. How many more years, if it breaks again, are we back to a whole other year of waiting to be flushed? And I have to deal with this again? No. This is not just because of the water main break on the 5th, this is when it started to be the worst. But I have had groundwater off and on since I moved here in 2014. That I don't have any, I mean, we deserve answers. I don't want to hear this broke, that broke, we paid for this, I'm trying to do this. Where does that still leave me in the end?
No, I agree. And they can only provide you guys with the information they have, and I know that's going to frustrate a lot of people.
They're saying flush is the answer, so let's flush.
Can we flush now,
What?
even while it's
Hold-
like, it's gonna be
hold on.
warm? It's
Hold on.
gonna get warm the next few days. Can they, if that plant is fixed, why can't they take one of those days, it's gonna be 40, 50, have the highway department with the sand truck drive behind while they're flushing out the hydrants, put down the sand, and see if that helps. Start in one area and see if it helps with the people on this poor street.
Yeah.
They can't live like that.
Right.
That's ridiculous. But I would think if they're worried, they want their overtime, let's give it to them. Go out there and flush the hydrants, stand behind so nothing freezes, shoot it into wherever they can. Put a fire hose on it, shoot it into the woods. Make an ice pond. Do something.
And there's no rhyme or reason on my street either as to why I have groundwater like this, but my neighbor directly to the left of me does not have groundwater today. But the woman diagonally from me and across the street both have groundwater. The other end of Colby Drive, one neighbor said, I've never had groundwater. So how is this coming out of my sink?
So, I gotta ask.
Hold on. So guys, we have a lot of people.
Jonathan.
Yeah, I know. I just need,
It's a technical question for the water department.
Dave, I just need you to identify yourself so people know
Dave
who's talking.
Marcio.
Dave Marcio.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is there, being in the water department for 40 years, sir, is there a low-lying area in the topography of the town that you could flush the hydrants that may be getting the most sediment to help some of these other people in that area where you know the town and the water system itself? Like, would that be a better solution for them, is to find the hydrant in a lower lying topography to get that manganese and iron out? Possibly, and I'm not being sarcastic.
Yeah.
I'm asking a question.
No, it's fine.
It would probably work, but the low-lying areas are probably in South Halifax, it's not going to help this lady.
Okay, so let me rephrase the question. Is there a low-lying area near her home or those areas that are most adversely affected that you can flush those hydrants to see if it gives them a reprieve?
The only way that I would know if there was a reprieve is, and I was going to talk to the other commissioners and the superintendent tonight, is doing what she said. Tomorrow is going to be a 40-degree day, I think, or Friday, and we can't go out and just try to do something. I don't.
Well, why didn't we do that in September and October when you had 13 days and it was just told it wasn't enough time? You just told me a couple minutes ago 13 days wasn't enough time.
There's a big difference in the water usage right now. The tank is staying
makes sense.
full
Okay.
longer.
All right.
In September, even October, the tank.
People are running water.
We got two wells,
All right,
you
that
know
makes
what I mean?
sense.
Two wells, one well actually, because one runs at night, one runs during the day. Trying to fill that tank, it takes all day. You know, now we're going 5 or 6 hours before, by the time the well shuts off to fill the tank, and by the time it turns back on, some nights we're going 7 or 8 hours.
Yeah,
August, September, they would rather water their lawn than let the tank fill up,
sure.
you know?
So guys, just, hold on, just to, I mean, we don't want to get this off the rails, honestly, because it wouldn't be productive. I have a couple gentlemen here with their hands up for quite some time. Commissioners and Bill, are you okay if I take questions from the audience here? Are you all right? Yeah. All right, go ahead, sir. Just, if you can identify yourself just for the people watching home and address, please. Yeah, so people can hear you.
Sure, I'm Jamie Hawley, 457 Laurel Street, and I've got a couple of questions just about what is the source of the sediment that these people are seeing? Is this from aging pipes, or is this being dredged up from our wells? I know we have a high iron area. Is this something that we're experiencing sloughing off of iron pipes, or what is this that they have in their water? Because that's horrible.
So there are no iron pipes in this town.
Okay, what are the pipes? They're all PVC, plastic, whatever?
PVC or AC.
So everything that's coming into their system is being dredged up from Richmond or YMCA, something like that. Is there any way that the town can put a point of access pre-filter in to eliminate what's coming up so that we can stop it at the point of entry?
Richmond Park is the point of entry where the filtration, the 3 filters are.
And those filters are supposed to be taking out all of the sediment?
But if they're not working properly, they're not gonna do it.
What's that?
If the filters aren't working, there's 3 filters in Richmond Park.
Okay.
They're big filters, they're probably as high as that stage.
Uh-huh.
If those aren't working properly, it's not gonna take, it's not.
And that's the valve issue that's causing them not to be able to be utilized.
You're gonna get that fixed.
Okay, so and is that where the majority of our water is going to come from, is Richmond Park 1 and 2?
The majority comes from the YMCA camp, which is with the iron and manganese in the YMCA, the 2 filters, 2 wells down there.
And are those filtered? Are those being pre-filtered at point?
It's
But
not high.
if we're talking about Richmond Park filters, why aren't we talking about YMCA if that's where the majority of our water for the town is coming
Because the
from?
iron and manganese at those 2, at that location is a lot lower than Richmond Park. At some point.
But we still need to address it.
At some point, we'll have to put a filtration plant there, yes. Not right now.
Okay.
Doesn't need it right now.
I really think that needs to be something that we talk about, is getting the filtration where the majority of our water for this town is being drawn from.
We'll
And is that a matter of us obtaining grants, DEP grants? What do we need to do to accelerate this process as a town? I mean, I don't want to sit on our hands. These people are suffering.
All right, you get that, I understand that, but.
Even if but I guess my point is even if we flush, I've seen it right after we flush, 3 days, 2 days after we flush the pipes, that these people that have brown water consistently, it's right back. And is that because there's a low-lying sag in the pipe that's generating a concentration that these people are somehow being saddled with? I'm just trying to understand mechanically. I have a mechanical brain.
The term flushing is being used in the wrong sense. The term flushing across the water means starting the zones, like the engineer said, starting at the tank and working your way to the other parts of the system. In order to do Colby Drive, you have to start at the tank, do Plum Street, do Home Street.
I understand
do all
this
roads up
process.
that area. but it's flushing with 2 hydrants open at the full velocity of 12 to 1,400 gallons a minute. This term flushing that's been brought up in this prior part of the conversation is just isolated flushing. You are not flushing the mains, you're just isolating flushing to get the tuberculation in that area out for a short-term solution. The long-term solution is to be back online with the biannual flushing program that we've been doing since I've been employed here for 25 years. What's being done is just a Band-Aid to get us through until we can do a 14-day flushing program to do the entire community.
I guess.
I hope that.
Yeah, that does help answer some, but I've been here since 2007, she's been here since 2014. I've seen issues of brown water. They were flushing twice, biannual flushing back in 2007, and it still didn't address the problem. So this is one question that I wanted to get out of the way. The other one that I have is I've been diligently following a study out of New Hampshire on PFAS in our drinking water. And what this study did in New Hampshire is they have an interesting situation there where they can monitor people's wells. They don't know they're being monitored because it's public data, and they can monitor birth records. Again, public data. They were able to take people's wells that were downstream of PFAS release areas and find that those mothers who became pregnant had so much higher infant mortality. They had low birth rates, everything. Just very bad. And we're dealing at Richmond 1 and 2 with concentrations of PFAS 6. We're supposed to have a state limit of 20. I saw the last test is 22.2. I'm also seeing, I pulled up records from Richmond 1 and 2 going back to October today. And EPA also has, they break down PFAS into a number of different chemicals. And we may be under the limit for PFAS, these individual chemicals, and that's under the limit. But if we have a group of 2 or more of these PFAS chemicals that are present in any quantity, then we are in a hazard zone with the EPA. And we have received, on the 1118 well test, well number 2, we are over on 2 of the chemicals that combine into a hazard. And then also, we also had that on the Richmond well number 1 on the 1118 draw, where they sampled that. So we're over on these PFAS chemicals. And it doesn't just affect pregnant women. It affects men, it's kidney, it's high cholesterol causing. There's all kinds of indications for high PFAS or PFAS levels. And I'm wondering how the town water department, what are the steps that need to be taken in order to look into filtration, carbon filters, RO systems. What are the steps that we need to take to make sure that we're not poisoning the town?
John, you want to answer that? He's our engineer.
Sure. Not me, this John.
John Gregory.
Yeah.
I've got the numbers here.
This is the first I've seen, I have not seen the numbers.
How have you not seen the numbers?
They are just recent numbers. Right?
They're almost a month old.
These were just,
This is from 1118. And we've got well number 1 is over on 2 chemicals that cause the hazard, and well number 2 is over on 2 chemicals that cause the hazard. And on PFAS 6, we are now at 22.2 for a combined of 6 PFAS. Massachusetts DEP puts a limit of 20 on that. We were at 20.01 back in October. Now we're at 22.2 in October 18th test. So this is getting to be dangerous because the people here, and especially any mothers that are looking to become pregnant or are pregnant,
Don't drink the water.
are having, so
So-
how can we address this, John?
Well, we need to look at the sampling rounds that have been completed, possibly do another round. I'm gonna be talking to Bill about that, and,
Do
see
you
what
guys
steps are
get these
necessary.
reports and see, like, flashing red lights that, wow, this is too high, we've got an issue?
we analyze any of those reports if they, you know, if we're doing that particular work for a client at that time. yeah.
So it's
And hold on.
So are you doing the work for Halifax?
We are, right now, the only work we are doing is with the Richmond Park project.
So I guess my question, guys, for our commissioners and our super is, what is our PFAS plan? What do we have to, you know, Mr. Hawley brought up these numbers. Do we have a PFAS plan going forward to make sure our water's good to go?
I had a talk with DEP last Friday. We're waiting on December's results. And then we're gonna have to figure something out with Richmond Park.
Okay, and let's say, hypothetically, those levels continue to be high, Bill, I don't know, like Tom says, I don't know the water business, what's the fix? Like, how do we?
Filters, carbon filters. That's actually what the grant was for with the engineering firm.
Okay,
So that's, DEP set us up with Olson Engineering. He's come down, we've had a discussion, and he's working on something
and
to address that.
would that be at both the Y and at Richmond, those carbon filters?
Just
Or
Richmond
wherever-
Park. YMCA doesn't have, I think one of the wells has no DTEX and the other is under the limit.
Okay,
Correct me if I'm wrong, those filters are extremely expensive. I know another town, $1 million, easy,
Yep.
on a filter.
for one filter?
And
filter,
you have
yes.
to take them and clean them out
Yeah.
and, yeah.
Can I ask a question that might not even make sense or be wrong? Is it possible we could switch to Brockton water at the moment until our problems are fixed?
Probably. I mean,
Have we looked at that, or?
if you wanted, yeah, I mean,
So, guys, so again, to keep this on the rails, to keep this going productively, if somebody has questions, ask the board, and then we'll be the conduit and ask these folks here, just so it's not coming in all different directions,
the
okay?
Brockton rate's different than ours, so you'd end
But
up
it's
with,
our water coming back, isn't it?
I can't answer that. I don't know who owns water. I mean, it comes out of the
We
pond
s-
and goes
we-
to Silver Lake and gets pumped out of Silver Lake.
At some point, we,
I mean, if you wanna fight with them over that,
I'm
see
not
where
looking
it
for a
goes,
fight, I'm looking
you
for
know
a
what I mean?
solution.
Hold on. So Van, I see you, but hold on. Chris had his hand up beforehand. So again, guys, you might have to come down here just to a microphone because people watching online aren't going to be able to hear anything you're saying, right? So, Chris, I know you're good voice here, but just kind of maybe skew that microphone over a little bit so folks can hear what people are saying. Otherwise, people watching aren't going to get any of this.
So Chris Winowitz, 129 Circuit Street. Since we start off with PFAS, since we're starting talking about that. Recently, there was some stuff posted online and phone numbers and stuff, so I took it upon myself to also call to confirm it and talk to the state. They were talking about the PFAS. At that time, it was only the 20.1, and they said they round down to 20 because the way the state law is worded is if it exceeds 20. But looking at the numbers over the years, like Jamie just spoke, it's exceeding every time, and now the last test is 22. So they said once it exceeds like that 20.5, and it gets rounded up, and it's over, I think, a quarter. If a couple tests are over that amount, they'll have to shut the wells down. And it's mandatory with the state law, they'll have to send a letter out to the town that it's exceeded. So I don't know if that's true, if we're very soon going to have the wells shut down.
A question for John or Bill. Have you guys heard any
Yeah, I think
stuff from the
that's what I'm
state at
waiting
all
for
about any of
DEP.
this?
They're waiting for December's results.
Okay.
December's results will determine what the quarter limit is. If we're over, then we gotta send out a letter, and then we have to have a plan on what we're gonna do.
Okay.
But the water also mixes in the tank with the Y camp.
Sure.
So it's not, everything is over the limit.
Just that one area?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Do you have a follow-up, Chris, or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
other thing that was brought up is I think previously, I don't know if it was town meeting, but one of the things that said we didn't flush is because at that time we were hooked up to
Brockton Water.
The state said they had already advised the water department that they didn't see that as a reason because it was so important to flush, and they had actually advised that we should have still flushed, and they weren't sure why we didn't. Because as they explained, you know, the cost of all the problems that were caused by not flushing kind of outweighs, you know, the cost of paying the money.
Paying the money to flush.
Brockton Water, so I didn't know.
I'll try to, guys, either Bill or
We came off Brockton Water February of '24.
Okay.
So that's why we figured Richmond Park was gonna be up and running and we'd be able to flush, and Richmond Park never really came back online
Did
fully.
we ever reconsider jumping back after February 24 when there was a delay?
No, because the Y Camp was keeping up with the water demand. So instead of buying water from Brockton, we just used the Y Camp. But we can't fill the tank to flush, because you're gonna fill the tank, shut the well off, and then flush all the hydrants. You're gonna drop the level of the tank, and in the summertime, with everybody watering, it would take all day. Sometimes that well ran 12 or 13 hours. I think that's why it failed so fast, and that's why we had to spend all that money to rebuild well 4.
One last question.
One last one, go ahead,
Do we
Chris.
have a total number on the amount of money that we've spent on these upgrades? Because I know in like town meeting, we transferred like 600,000, there was so much taken out of retained earnings. It seemed like we paid over $1 million for Richmond Park upgrades.
3, I
$3
think.
million?
I think the 2.9 was final amount.
So as a taxpayer, we paid $3 million almost to upgrades, and the place can't even get up and running? That just seems like a big problem.
Van, you had a question? Come on down. Just identify yourself and your address, please.
Yeah, Van Donnelly, 401.
Just close to the mic if you can.
Yeah, just a couple of questions I have. On these valves, are these all automated valves with process automation tied into them,
Yep.
so we get the reports back through the system? Do we get, and they're all GPS timestamped? Does any of that go along with these?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, so.
Man, if you could just go to the microphone, just otherwise people aren't gonna hear you.
Yeah, a little background. I've done a lot of work on the power, electric side of water and wastewater treatment plants myself. But just get a general idea of this. I think it's pretty clear here, a couple things. Do we have an agreement with the water group here that these levels must be maintained at all when we write a contract with the group that handles the water department? In other words, you've got to stay within these parameters or barriers or make corrections before this water goes to our town. So there's something like that, my personal opinion, should be in some kind of agreement like that, so they have to maintain those standards. I'm assuming it's APA related that you're maintaining, but there should be something in contracts like that so we don't get hit. Another thing I would say too is on the GPS timestamps are always good because it tells us what happened and when. We actually have those stamps on reports that come out through the process automation system for the water. I would just think in any kind of drinking water systems, we should be moving all stainless steel valves no matter what happens here, not anything that is still iron and steel. We're doing a lot of flushing. If that's coming out of our wells, we're better off paying the money here now to go out and look at putting in these pre-filtration systems inside the water so we don't have all this stuff going back to our town and we're doing all this flushing and everything else down the road. So a pre-filter system makes sense for us. And I guess I would say too, just that if we're taking water back from Brockton, my guess is it's probably going to the Brockton treatment plant before it's coming down here for their filtration system. So if somebody could check what's coming back from Brockton, they may actually already be filtering it from us. Take it from us, filter it, ship it back. I don't know that to be perfect here, but I'm just saying if a city that size must have some kind of water filtration. So I think for a short term, something like that could be looked at, but I think we have to move to pre-filtered stages, even with bypass filters if we have in these facilities. So if there's a problem in here, we can switch to the bypass filters while we do any service work and anything related, not interrupt the town with any of those type systems. But that's kind of pretty much all I said. Pre-automation systems, something timestamps, we don't know what when. And we actually have to move to that direction. I'm just shocked that I don't think the people in the town are going to trust anything that you don't go outside and get an audit of everything, from the pipe systems all the way back to the wells, and tell us what do we need to do this year, 2 years, and then 3 years to get our water systems up and pre-filter out all the forever chemical, the PFAs, which react There's some articles that'll tell you that you can get almost 90% if you're using carbonized type filtering system. So we shouldn't be looking here what the government says is a minimum. We should be looking to put our clean drinking water as close as we can to everyone in the town. And if we gotta pay an extra money, most people in the town, if they hear that, they're probably gonna look at going back and say, well, that makes damn sense, because my kids and everybody are drinking this water and everything. That's an expense that people could lock on to. But you gotta have, whoever you hire to run the wells, the water systems, or what, we gotta have contracts with them, some what they gotta keep the water at. Because without that, how are you gonna get it? And this, with a process system that reports back to us, we should be able to get that information back and report back to you on those reports. Our wells are operated here, we had this happen at X, you guys would have the reports, so that we'd be in good shape. But that's all I got to say. Hopefully we can all work together to get this done. This is a real issue, but you're not going to get trust from anyone in the town unless you get an independent review. Nice people, but I don't think it's over their head. That's my personal opinion. In the electrical side, I work in, but this is somebody needs to come on and full blown look at the system. Here now, something to help the people like immediately here, what we need to do. Hey, maybe the town agrees to put a blue drop system or some filter system and so don't get it, or whatever if they got a problem right now. I mean, even on my end, I'm willing to, like I say, as a town person, vote to help the people short term. I actually put a blue drop system in my house, the complete system, and I'm actually asking my wife to go test the blue drop. Because we've had the same things, the big filters and pitchers coming in all yellow, right? But I'm gonna have to test that and find out what's coming out of my system now, because it's the best one they got. I'll let them know. Well, I actually got back and didn't take all the PFAs to do this other stuff that we're supposed to do, because I haven't even tested that yet, but I just felt anything was better than taking a shot. So if I would recommend one last thing, please look at getting an independent company in here to do a look at our whole water system and the way we do our contracts with the water people to make sure they maintain. If somebody can come in and make sure that they're auditing that, or whatever. I mean, I think nice people, but again, I think it's over there. It's my personal opinion. Thank you.
So, to touch on one thing that Van said, and again, I don't know water, guys, but if we somehow got water from Brockton, it's a moot point if we're still using the same system, correct? Like if we're not flushing the system, we're still gonna have that same issue, through those same pipes that haven't been flushed, right? I mean, I think that's, again, I don't know. Unless you.
On the way back in.
But on the.
No.
Yeah, but it's gonna come through those same pipes
There is
anyway.
no way back in. You're
Right,
taking water from the pond and putting it in, and what's in the water mains is staying there.
correct.
Until you
It's
flush it out.
it's the mains, I
So
feel
even though
like,
you
that
bring
are
in
the
Brockton's
issue.
water, the
It's
water
not,
main still has the iron and manganese in it.
again, and I'm not speaking for the water department, but I'm trying to put it all together. I don't think it's the source, I think it's the mains, it's our system that we haven't flushed in almost 2 years. And I think that's the crux of what most of these issues are. But again, maybe you guys can confirm or deny. Right, that I think is,
You gotta go filtration everywhere around it.
sure,
So you might as well make a decision that we stop.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not all year one, whatever, but you gotta do something.
yep. Chris, you've already asked, Amy, you had your hand up? You want to come down and identify yourself, please?
I think that it's really important to think about the fact that over the last couple of years, we had the aquifer big digs that everybody was against, and I bring it up because the water has gotten worse in our neighborhood since then. My bathroom tiles turn brown. They're white tiles, and they turn brown on a regular basis. That did not happen before that. And I got a brand new toilet in 2024 December, and it already has a dug ring of iron around where the water comes out at the top. And it's bad. It's bad. There's like a gelling that happens. So I would urge you guys to look into the fact that right now we have Maryland's Landing, AKA the dump, asking to put more dirt in 35 feet by 80-something feet diameter on top of the area over there, which is by our another set of aquifers, which directly goes into, I'm sorry?
170 feet tall,
170
millions of tons.
So it's gonna, that will affect our water supply. It's reclaiming dirt from sites at such places as Logan Airport. We need that to stop, and the Board of Health needs to send a letter out right now, and if we could maybe urge them to do that, because we all know that the protection zone big dig that happened in the YMCA area didn't help the town's water at all. So maybe we can prevent another issue from happening by stopping that. You guys know about that, right?
Say it one more time.
The Maryland's Landing Aquifer Protection Zone area. We shouldn't allow them to put anything on there. I think that's a vote of town meeting in the 90s that shut that down. And so I don't know how it's happening, but we need to stop that because, again, I don't know how you can circumvent the town's vote on shutting down the dump. But again, the Aquifer Protection Zone is my main thought process on that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else? Any other? Okay, Chris, come on up.
So, two questions. As we just found out about the PFAS in one of the wells, and looking towards the future, is there any plans for the future, like emergency, if we ever lost a well where another well would go in town, any other aquifer, and as the town even grows, we know that there's a lot of building going on and stuff. If there's ever more wells that are needed, where would they be put? Just plans?
So I can ask, guys, contingency plans essentially, in case we have well issues and need to shut wells down. Does the department have kind of a plan A, plan B kind of thing?
Quickly, just to add to that, I
Sure.
do know there's a property at the end of Stonyware, which I was always told is for a future well if it's ever needed. I don't know if that's true.
Okay.
It is true.
Yep.
When they put Stonyware in, that extension was put in, that was done before we even got into the Y camp, because we thought that's where the well would be. And then the town took over the Y camp property, and we found that was a better spot. The two main wells are at the Y camp. Those are the two that put up the most water. If one of those wells was to die, we have other locations in that area which could be used. But to put in a well, like the last well that we put in, just to get approval from the state took almost 10 years.
Wow.
They don't just tell you, yeah, you want a proper well up here. It's a little quicker, I believe, John, can correct me, if you're just replacing a well, an existing well, I don't think it takes that long. But it's still gonna take a while. But we have the Y camp, it's a big piece of property. We have areas down there we good. And the other thing is, if we lose a well, and we got tied in with Barton, we're tied in with East Bridgewater, we're tied in with Hanson. We can let that town come in, despite, and we could also supply them. That's the way it's a mutual agreement we have with the other towns.
And as far as the Stonyware one, because it's going on with Maryland's Landing, that aquifer, if you look at the state GIS maps, there's two main aquifers under Halifax, from what we were told. The wells that we're using now are on the other one to the east of basically the town hall here, the other aquifers to the west, where the end of Stonyware. The Maryland's Landing at the power lines is right where that downslope is, the edge of that aquifer, and the DEP has told us that's the way the groundwater goes with some of the contamination. So the Pine Street bogs have had some contamination, heads over to Cranberry Drive, Stonyware. So if we bring more dirt in, future as Halifax grows, we go contaminate that aquifer. So maybe we might want to protect that aquifer if we ever need it in the future. And my second question was, at the last meeting we had when the water department came in the audience, there was one comment made about with the $3 million of upgrades, if it was unsure if even the water department would be fully trained with all the new upgrades. Is everyone certified, have learned on all the...
Behind me. Two of them I did.
I'm just curious, with all those upgrades, it all fully trained and operating it and certifications and...
They're trained on all of the upgrades, and they have the Class 2 license that this town requires, and Class 2 treatment license that this town requires.
Thanks, Chris. Anybody else? Yeah, hold on. Ted hasn't had a chance yet. We'd like to share the wealth.
Ted Benner, town resident, also the deputy police chief. Just a question, how long would the flushing take for a full flush? I believe someone, it would take 2 weeks. And,
to 14 days, not so 10 days, at least 10 days of flushing.
so if there was a weather window of 10 days, if there was some coordination with the police department and the highway department, I understand that there would be liability with the roads, but if there was a weather window, could it be moved up to get it done?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Where have you been, Ted?
I mean, that's a great idea, but I don't understand why the 13 days in September didn't qualify for that window. I keep going back. You said 13 days. We had September to October. Why didn't we get it done?
Because they were, I think, they're worried about water usage, right?
We just got the well online, so we can't just get it online. In September, we didn't even have the programming completed to let the wells start on automatic. We were going in the morning, running it during the day, making sure everything ran, fixing the leaks because everything decided to leak because nothing was ever used, nothing was under any pressure. So the first part was all the stuff that was leaking and breaking, the chem pumps breaking. September was maybe 10 days running. It wasn't really till October. And it was the programming to get it to run. We had to watch it to make sure the pH is right, the chlorine is right. It wasn't just a matter of start it up and just close your eyes, walk away.
So a quick question, and maybe this is for Dick because he's been here a long time.
Do you have to keep saying that?
He started when you were 10, though, so there you go. You've been here a long time, Dick. Have you seen the water issues like we're having now in town in the history of your time here? Has there ever been a time here in Halifax where we've gone this long without flushing?
Yes.
Okay. We've gone this long? Because I had people behind you in your department shaking their head no.
Well, yes, because when I first started here back in the 80s, we had never flushed.
Yeah.
The department, I think the first water mains were laid here down back in the 50s. And they never flushed.
Yeah.
But what happens is, because we didn't even have Richmond Park, all we had was Parkland Water.
Yep.
Richmond Park came online back in 1979. From 79 to probably at least mid-80s, maybe late 80s, we never flushed. And then what happened was, as the wells of Richmond Park got used more and more and more, the iron creeped up. And that's why they even put the plant in, because originally we didn't need the plant. So then the wells were there, but there was no treatment plant. As the iron creeped up.
That's when we had to do it.
They put the filtration plant in.
Yep.
So it wasn't until 2 years after that we started flushing, right? Because I think after I was here the first couple of years, it was the first time we flushed.
All right. Tom, you have something to say?
Yeah, I don't even know if this is like a fair question, but I guess I'm just wondering, do the water commissioners or does a water commissioner or anybody have an opinion on the expansion of the town, the Thorndike project, the potential MBTA 750 units, and the impact that could have on an already strained system?
So basically you're worried about having enough supply?
I'm just wondering,
supply?
the supply seems to be a problem. The quality of what we have seems to be a problem. I'm just wondering, with the Thorndike project, nearing part of the completion, 750 units being proposed again and again by the MBTA overlay districts. Do we have any concerns about the water quality and being able to substantiate more people, more supply than we have now that we can't regulate?
I think if I remember right, when that project first came to us, we looked at that, and I think, I don't know if John Gregory looked at it, because usually what we do if a big project comes in, we have the engineers look at it, and they say, how much will that affect our system? But then we figure, because of what it is, like it's not a party B project where they can use a ton of water,
Well, it just seems to me that if we had a problem with supply in September, October of this year without Thorndike and any MBTA zoning, any additional properties like that would only exacerbate an already tough situation.
But I think
Well was down.
But I think the supply, Tom, is because we had well issues.
Richmond Park has been consistently down. It has been. So I'm just wondering how that affects things moving forward.
I don't know water, but I don't think it's a capacity issue. It's that the system we have set up wasn't fully operational.
So it's a capacity issue, what we have working.
And you've got the rates that are higher than normal in the system itself, which may have to shut it down. If you get to a point one more month and you've got to shut it down, then you've got a problem anyway. You got a problem. They can't expand.
But
it's just whether it's chemicals or it's
quality.
Getting access to water. He's already saying with a pump and they're getting more magnesium than they get in the water. So we've got a problem.
So, all right, Amy, really quick, but I have a...
I just want to make a really quick point.
Sure.
So when they started flushing back in the 90s, it was after subdivision control went in because we had too many condos, not just in Halifax, but across the state that went in that outweighed our infrastructures, which is what I always talk about. And it's interesting to find out that you started flushing right as subdivision control came in. And subdivision control is that when you go in front of a planning board to talk to people, you have to talk about whether you have enough room on your streets, whether you have enough water, whether you have enough room in your schools, whether you have enough fire, police, how is it going to affect the town taxpayers. So these overlays that come in will overweigh us, and it will not be on the contractors. That's why they're going away from 40B. Notice that our water commissioner just stated that a 40B, they would probably be using their own water, which is exactly the reason why Thorndike never went through with a 40B. It wasn't because it was because they didn't want to, because they'd have to have multi-million dollars worth of water infrastructure in order to do it. So they sank us by coming in front of a December 2023 town meeting and flabbergasted the town, and that's why we now have that, because it was a slap in the face, like nobody even understood what was happening, and that's going to be a major problem when that turns on. Every town north of here that has done this overbuilding has a water problem. Hingham's been buying water from Cohasset. Marshfield sells water to Situate. Situate has a water problem. Everybody's on an expanded water ban. Yes, we have a problem. We have to pay attention to it. So again, I didn't know this before, but water flushing started because of the overbuilding done in the 70s and the 80s.
All right.
I don't think that's true, that's why it started.
Yep.
If I remember right, like I said, it was a long time ago.
Sure.
It was because DEP came to us and said, when was the last, what do you have for placement? What do you do for placement?
So it was a...
And it wasn't because we had a lot of dirty water calls, it was because DEP said, you should be...
Let's start flushing. Okay.
Start flushing, that's the reason we started.
So I'm hopeful, and I don't know if this idea will work, but I want to float it by everybody here. I think maybe the best idea we've had so far is by our deputy chief here. Is there a way, if we can time things with the temperatures and with the schedule and the weather, to try to get some serious flushing done? Because I do think, to Dick's point, in the 40 years he's been there, that has cleared up a lot of these issues. So I think it might make sense to start there, right? Let's rule that out. And hopefully that clears up a lot of our issues. And if that doesn't, then we come back here and we figure this out again. But I think it's not really fair to folks. I mean, that woman's water, we can't have residents with water like that. So I do think we need to act. And I know it's not ideal, and we got to make sure we're doing it safely, because, the last thing we want is accidents from people getting iced over. But I do feel like if we coordinate with Highway, with PD, with you guys at Water, and try to come up with a plan to give it a real good flushing and see what happens. And then if...
You agree that that's only gonna, that's me, take care of the magnesium levels in the
Sure.
water. That will not change your PFAS.
No, PFAS, I agree.
Two separate issues, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're both serious issues, Van, but I think that for right now, they're two separate issues, right? So we need a stopgap now, and we need to come up with a plan now. so that that water doesn't happen. I'm not saying it's the safest water we have. I'm not saying that, you know, it's going to cure everything. But I do feel like we need to coordinate with highway, water, police. Let's look at the temperatures and let's get this done. So I don't know where we go from there. If we have Steve, if we have Ted in Chief Jobs, or we have the highway supers discuss with a plan here to try to get this done.
I spoke with the highway surveyor.
Yeah. So for those that didn't hear, Ted spoke with Steve, who said he's willing to try to come up with a schedule to get this done.
Can they do it during the day, Jonathan, when it's warmer? It's still gonna go down into the 20s.
Sure.
But does it matter? I think the town would probably be very acceptable to having to either stop using water in a neighborhood for a couple hours to get this stuff done. So
Yeah.
whatever needs to happen, I think it should be done during the day where it's gonna be in the 40s for the next 4 or 5 days or whatever, instead of doing it overnight for the safety of them as well.
Right. Water commissioners and Bill, what are our thoughts? Do we have the manpower, Sully? We get the manpower to do this during the day?
The questions to me should go through the superintendent.
Sure. Bill? Yeah.
You should be able
to. Yeah.
Can't you just run the hose right down to the sewer main? Keeps all the water off the street?
Not
No.
if there's not one close.
No.
We used the 4-inch right off the front.
Yeah.
With a flush box.
Yeah. And again,
Less more water.
and again, this isn't ideal, and it might inconvenience some folks, but I hope, especially this time of year, not to get all cheesy on you guys, but your inconvenience may really help people like this woman here, right? So let's come up with a plan, let's put our heads together, and let's do this sooner rather than later to try to fix the issues that we have. Knock on wood, I think we capped it at a 90% success rate. I'm going to hold you to it. But knock on wood, it fixes a lot of these issues. At least gets a jump on it, and then we can circle back, you know, in the spring after we do the flushing to see what we have. I'm not saying we turned a blind eye to PFAS. The EPA is all over that right now. We as a town have to be all over that because, as Jamie was saying, the levels that they're going to demand are only going to go lower and lower and lower.
But
And
that's
we're going to
what
have
we
to
got
get
the
better
money
and
for,
better
too,
and better
though.
over time.
That's why we got involved with that lawsuit.
Right.
So I think
To collect
they
money
said
on the
we're gonna-
PFAS,
I think
correct.
the total is like 1.3 million.
Yeah, no, we have money coming from the state on PFAS, and we will absolutely use that to help with PFAS. But I do feel like, again, this isn't an ideal situation. I don't know many towns that flush their systems in December and January, but I think we're kind of at I don't want to say a critical point, but we're at a point now where it's kind of our only option right now, I think. Yes, Dave Masio.
So do we switch, so if we can get the flush pulled off, right? Hypothetical, I'm just asking. Do we switch over to Brockton, get the PFAS tested out of Brockton, and run Brockton until you guys can get Richmond Park back up? Because realistically, if we're saying that the manganese and iron is coming out of the YMCA and Richmond's got the filtration, then aren't we just gonna put the stuff right back in the lines again? I mean, I understand a little bit of how the wells work. It's it's coming from groundwater. You're gonna have, but I'd rather pay for the Brockton water if it's clean, it's not loaded with iron, manganese, and all the other stuff. I'd rather pay for that gladly if I'm gonna get clean water versus, all right, we flush the pipe and then 2 months later, I'm dealing with the same thing. I got my shower's white, it's brown. We're constantly cleaning it. So, do we switch to Brockton until we get Richmond open? Is it foolish for that, or is it better? Also, and I'm sorry, excuse me, if once Richmond's open, are we shutting down the Y? So we don't get more? Are we gonna shut the YMCA down?
They work together, right, in tandem.
So we're still gonna get a concentration of iron manganese no matter what we do, without a filtration plant on that one?
Hopefully we get the treatment plant online. Like you said, they're supposed to be here, when you say they're done?
End of the week, I think.
So they get that part, they get that up and running?
Okay. Because I've been approached by one of your personnel saying you gotta go pay your bill. I don't wanna pay it. I don't care what anybody says. I don't wanna pay it. I didn't wanna pay it. I paid it, but I was ticked off about it because it's been brown. Okay, all right. I don't ever want that person coming to my shop again and asking me. He doesn't have the right to, and I made it clear. But nobody here wants to pay for it, and we use enough social media at this point because obviously there's enough people in town that have communicated through Halifax community, local page or the Facebook stuff that, you know, even Tom Pratt, thank you, has put his voice out there. Everybody can communicate and pass it along, even if it's repeated over and over again, as we repeat a lot. Anyways, hey, they're flushing the water main. It's going to be risky. It's going to be cold. Keep an eye out. Everybody talk to your neighbors. Everybody pass it along. Let's just get it done. Because I want to know what you get tested out of that jar. Because first of all, I thought you brought moonshine in here. I was like, I want a hit of that. That's
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. So, yeah, you haven't spoken yet, ma'am. Go right ahead. Sure.
Hi, everyone. Marcy Ward from Twin Lakes. I appreciate everybody being here as well, and I feel your pain because we have a serious issue. I've had a lot of challenges, like everyone else here, and one thing that I'm concerned about is when the water is clean, it's like smells like a swimming pool. So I don't know if anyone else has noticed that, but I have noticed it makes my eyes water. Like, so just something to watch out for. I don't know how many people on the board here live in Halifax, or if you're experiencing those challenges, but that's something we also want to be mindful of, because even though it looks clean, it smells like, you know, we can't use it. We still can't use it. So that's something else I wanted to bring up, if anyone else has that issue.
Why does that
Okay.
happen? Can they answer?
Thank you. The question is, guys, getting a chlorine smell in the water.
We use chlorine for disinfection.
So they're using chlorine for disinfection?
To keep the bacteria out of the water.
Okay.
Yep.
And is that a past practice you guys have done for a long time? And has it
Yeah.
recently gotten worse, or is that a smell you've had for a long time, or? Oh, sorry.
It's okay. It's been, I think I've noticed it more recently, you know, since the water's been like a lot more frequently. It's been darker brown and for a longer period of time, more frequently.
Yeah.
I have noticed it more recently than I have in past times. And to be fair, like, I moved here in 2019, and I really didn't have the brown water issues for a long time, until probably, now that you're mentioning it, probably like 2014, I think, 2024, sorry. I think that's when it started. So it's been ongoing since then, and I have noticed the chlorine smell.
Okay.
But I didn't notice it in the past.
Okay.
So.
So, hold on. Go ahead.
Chlorine is used to kill the bacteria. We're mandated to do that.
Okay.
Sometimes, you know, you're gonna get a smell of chlorine. It's perfectly safe to drink. And if you don't want the smell, if you take a pitcher of water, and fill it with your water, and put it in the refrigerator, tomorrow morning that chlorine smell is gone. You need a perfectly clean water to drink. Chlorine will dissipate overnight.
Okay. Mary, you had your hand up. Do you still have a question? You're going to have to come up. I'm going to make you walk up here. No, come on. You don't get special treatment. Get your steps in. Yeah.
So just on that question, are we testing for bacteria? And when a level of bacteria gets high, then we put bleach in the water?
No, it goes
John,
in
is that
all
a
the
question
time.
for you, or? How?
I'm sorry, what?
I was just going to say,
Like
is
what-
that the engineer question, or Bill, or go ahead?
No, we use it all the time.
What kind of bacteria is in the water?
None, because we use chlorine.
But you must not put the chlorine in until you
chlorine
that you
goes
know
in.
that there's bacteria in it, because we only smell it at certain times?
No, it goes in all the time, right at the well, right at the treatment plant, before it goes out into
So
the
how
system.
come sometimes
And
it's so much more like prevalent than at other times?
I think now it's probably from not flushing. It's sitting in the water main with that's what oxidizes the iron and manganese and makes it settle out into the water main.
So again, guys, I feel like we're going to go around a little bit here, right? I think what we should, our goal tonight here is, I think we need to come up with a flushing plan. And I think it doesn't need to be a Band-Aid flush. I think we need to look at a full system flush. And I think we need to use highway, we need to use PD, and we need to use water to get our system flushed. It's not going to be easy with the time of year we're trying to do it, but I feel like that's step one, right? And we do that, and then we come back and we see how effective that process is. Again, we have a long time, I'm sorry, I keep throwing you under the bus with the age thing. We have a long time guy here that says the flushing takes care of a lot of this stuff. Let's at least give them the opportunity to do that, something we haven't done in almost 2 years, and see if it corrects a lot of these issues. the board, does that make sense to you guys as well?
Yeah, I just think it's unfortunate that it took
I do
this
too.
long for this conversation to happen.
We're here.
Probably. Best way to say that.
I will say water under the bridge, but that's not a great analogy to use right now, because we're here, right? So, yeah, Chris and then Van, but again, guys, Chris first, then Van. But Van, you can stand behind him.
Quick question. Is it correct that higher levels of chlorination are used to participate the manganese out of the water so it falls out and solidifies in municipal water systems?
That's a question for you. What do you mean by higher level?
Like chlorine is used and it coagulates the
Right.
manganese and it drops out of the water. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So even if we're using it for disinfection, could it have a side effect where it's falling out of the water system and filling the pipes with manganese?
It can cause some dissipation of what's on the inside of the pipes, yes.
So it could accelerate filling the pipes,
Filling the pipes with,
manganese that's falling out from the chlorination?
So that's just a vicious circle that we're running here. The more chlorine we use, the more gets left behind.
I think the water department's using more or less the same chlorine.
Yeah.
that they typically
Yeah, we don't
use.
chlorinate from the Y camp as much, so we don't oxidize the iron and manganese. It's just enough to kill the bacteria.
All right.
Hi, Van Donnelly, 201 Cranberry Drive. You mentioned the case about a suit for $1.3 million or whatever for PFAs, right? That's the filter, right? So, I mean, we're getting paid to fix our problem, so hopefully that money's earmarked to go fix the problem, I would hope, right?
It has to be used for, has to be used for PFAS remediation.
Yes, exactly what problem kind of we have here, right? Another question, do we use any ultraviolet lighting for our bacteria or just chlorine? That's it? And is there a reason why we don't use the ultraviolet lighting in the systems, or is that, because that's that's a big help for killing bacteria, if it's...
No, we don't use it.
Okay.
I think
So again, recommendation here is that you look at somebody to come in and look at our system, soup to nuts, and if you gotta buy Brockton water and you find out that it's already going through a treatment plant where they gotta test it, okay, at a certain timeline and basis, you may be buying treated water that you could use now while we rebuild our system over a couple of years or whatever, while we're doing that. So to me, flushing the water is great, may help out a little bit for now. You still got other problems for filtering and all of this. So you need somebody to come into the town and said, here's your water department, here's the select board, here's what these experts have come in and told us, right, to the town. And they do the presentation soup to nuts, right from piping to look at our storage to everything, and say the best system to get rid of your PFAs, right, and the best system to get rid of the manganese, because you're still going to have to flush down the road if you don't deal with a lot of the problems that are causing it, right? So if we take that out of the water, the townspeople are going to be happy. They're probably more willing to pay for that if they got an expert telling them this is what needs to happen. And so just, anyway, that's it.
All right, so again, I feel like they're good, valid points, guys, but we're going in a little bit of a circle here. So just in the essence of keeping things going forward, I do feel like, I think our plan as a town moving forward should be a coordinated effort between Halifax PD, Halifax Water, and Halifax Highway to come up with a plan to flush. We'll have, I don't know who runs point. Is that, Bill, do you run point on that and coordinate with, how, in flushing in the past, how does that operate? Who is the contact person between all those entities?
It's just the water department.
Water department, all right. So the water department is on board with working with PD, working with fire, I'm sorry, highway. It's a long night, sorry. To come up with a plan to flush, a full flush, not a Band-Aid flush, a full flush in between the weather that we can do, and then circle back. And I don't know if we need to put a hard date on the calendar to circle back, maybe, February or March, to see if those issues have been cleared up. Does that sound like a plan for the board? And then if the issues aren't cleared up, maybe we look at bringing in a third party to examine the other issues that might exist.
Can I just ask one more question?
Sure.
So we need time to flush the whole system. Can it be broken up, like if there's a 3-day stretch now, and you can then pause it if the cold weather comes back, or does it have to be continuous?
You can probably break it up, you just have to.
Be
stay in
strategic
the
and hit
same-
this,
yeah.
yeah,
You need to
okay.
go zone by zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gotta be strategically placed so that the water yeah, so it's not
Yeah.
The
gonna.
plan is broken up
Right.
into a
Right.
series of zones.
So we don't need
Go
10,
zone by zone.
we don't need 10 straight days, we just need a couple segments of it, 4 or 5 that would,
I think it's better if they had 10.
well, sure.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with you, but.
I don't know if we're gonna get 10 days above freezing though, Dick.
I'm just reluctant to set a date of February 1st if we're setting ourselves up for failure in 6 weeks when we don't have a 10-day stretch that's going
Right.
to present itself, that's all.
And I'm a little concerned, but to do a full flush here, I don't think, that's gonna be very difficult this time of year. There's a lot of sections of town are pretty good. We have, I think it'd be better off if we concentrate on where we know we're getting most of the dirty water calls, rather than waste our time going to an area
Sure.
that's got
Yeah, that
pretty
makes
good
sense.
water. And then in the spring, we hit it.
That makes sense.
I'm just reluctant to have anybody, including us or them, overpromise and underdeliver, which I think has been the pattern that we've fallen into here. So I'd rather set everyone up for looking okay and progress being made rather than failure. So,
Right, but we gotta come up with something, right?
well, I understand that. That's why I was
Yeah.
asking about splitting it up.
So I think this is the best idea that we have. And to your point, Dick, you know, we start with the areas that we've had the most calls on, and we start with, you say the town's divided into zones. You know, let's hit those trouble zones first.
We know where most of the dirty water calls are.
Yep,
I suggest that we hit those areas and go from there.
yep,
And if the weather breaks, we can do more, we do more.
Right.
Let's get the dirty water calls where the people have the worst water.
Yep.
Let's get that straightened out the best we can.
great. All right, Jamie, real quick.
Jamie,
yeah.
one more quick question and a point. On my printouts that I did where I was trying to search the Halifax wells, for YMCA, I only see that pH is being tested. Are we testing for PFAS on YMCA as well? Because I don't see detailed reports for the breakdowns.
I'd have to look at the schedule, but I think it's once a year,
Once a year?
because there's no detects over there.
Okay. And then just a quick point to go along with what Amy and Chris said. Amy mentioned that she started to see the water issues once that big dig, stand dig, started to happen over there. When her water issues started to appear, we probably lost our natural filtration by all this sand leaving our system. And then what Chris and I were in the area of Maryland's Landing, and if anyone's attended the meetings, and I've been posting on Facebook about this, Maryland's Landing and McDonald Industries, they have uncontrolled toxic runoff coming off of that site right now. And that, it's not going into the retention ponds, but that plays into the water department because that is flowing into the aquifer that's going over towards Stony Weir, which is a future site for us. So we have toxic chemicals that McDonald Industries says are uncontrolled, and they're flowing off, creating new wetlands underneath the power lines. So toxic wetlands underneath there, something to look forward to for the future. So I would really see if there's a way that the town can minimize the sand mining, get rid of that, whatever, and this whole Maryland's Landing thing is really becoming an issue. And
Okay.
for the future of this town.
Thank you. Okay, so again, I'm gonna ask the water department if we can, once you guys get squared away, to try to provide the town with, areas of the town that are gonna be flushed. You know, when you guys figure out what zones you plan on doing and what days, we can give folks the best heads up as possible, you know, including these streets if we can. I know in years past, we've kind of just said flushing going on, but if we can try to be targeting about what streets and zones we're trying to do, just to give people a heads up, you know, not only for their water in their home, but also any sort of extra water that may be in the roads or in the neighborhood. I think it's vital that we let folks know that these are the areas in town that we're going to be doing on these days. So if we can, you know, share that with as many folks as possible. We'll talk to our, you know, IT guy. We'll try and get that out on our town website to get as much word out as we can that these are the areas that we're going to be doing, and these are the days we're going to be doing them.
Are you able to start right away because the next 5 days look above freezing?
If we
I
can
think you gotta,
coordinate it with.
gotta coordinate with PD and with
coordinate
highway.
with everybody else.
But, yeah. So,
Yeah, 50s, 58 on Friday.
does that sound like a plan?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you, guys. I know this is not a fun meeting to attend. I want to thank Water for coming here tonight. I'm sure you guys know you were going to get barbs here. But again, I can't stress this enough. Everybody in this room wants to fix this, right? There's nobody in this room that wants water like what we're seeing. I can tell you firsthand, the people I've spoken with. So we have a plan. We're going to go forward. Hopefully that plan is effective. And if it's not, we're going to circle right back and come up with another plan. All right? Anything else?
Yeah, my first comment was thank you for showing up, and my last comment will be thank you for showing up as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we're good. Thank you. Thanks again. All right. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Already?
Yes.
So moved.
Do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned at 8:27.